Hello. Well, good. You know what we're meant to say. We can actually finally say it, Scuba. Good evening.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, sirs. Good evening, sirs. Good evening, circumcised. Good evening, sir.
Good
Scuba.
evening, gentlemen.
Good evening. Good
Welcome
evening.
to the library.
It's weird because I'll tell the chat and thanks everyone for coming. This is awesome.
Yeah.
I said to Scuba, this is weird for us because it's only 9 o'clock, right? So one side does his streams, or the Irish lads, or the British lads, or even GSR. It's this time of night, but because we do it at 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the afternoon, Pete.
Yeah, you're hustling it like, oh shit, 3 p.m. Gotta go.
So tonight I'm setting it all up. It's like 20 past 8, quarter past 8, whatever, and I'm like, oh my god, it's in the middle of the night. But it isn't, though, is it? It just felt dead weird. Like it's the middle of the night.
It is the middle of the night for some of us.
Yeah, it's
for some of us.
Yeah.
You've always been like that, though, Si. I can't say it's a new thing, but I've noticed not just our Si, Scuba and Si, a lot of toy guys, a lot of people in our community, they stay up late. The late lads, aren't they?
Yep.
Have you noticed that yourself?
Yeah, I think it's because we like filling ourselves with all the shit that's on, so we just love watching it, and you could watch it all night. And
right, yeah, you binge. Yeah.
For me, staying up late at night came from being a teenager, whereas I've got 3 brothers, and Mark will tell you this house used to be like Central Station, people coming and going non-stop, and I could never get any artwork done. So what I used to do is I used to like sort of plan it where I can start about 10, 11 o'clock at night and work all night. Then I knew the door wasn't going, my phone wasn't going, nobody's in and out. And it just sort of stuck. And over all these years, I think, God, I never go to bed before 2 a.m., 1 a.m., never.
Have you been like that, Pete? Because it's been nights, me and you've had chats at 1 o'clock in the morning, 1:30 in the morning.
Yeah, I've always been more of the nightlife, the late. I like to boogie. I think after COVID, it got even worse. Like, coming out of lockdown, it was like 3, 4 a.m.
Yeah,
and I've dialed it back. It's usually around like 2 a.m. I'm like,
that's what I do with our site. If I'm talking to our site at night, or when we've had chats at night, I'll always turn around and between 1.5, 2. Like last night, I said, I gotta go, mate.
Yeah.
It's 1 in the morning. You know
otherwise, now that I'm over 50, I'm a complete wreck the next day.
I know.
It's sad.
Well, listen, all this is tonight, everybody, and I'm going to put a link in the chat as well. So whoever's in the chat, I'll come and talk to these fine young gentlemen. You're more than welcome to come on. It's just a chat, having a showing what we've bought recently and, things that are in the news, that kind of thing. So it's just like a background chat, if you will, that we just thought we'd do live. But it's weird because it's like I say, I can speak for me and Scoobs here. We cater a lot of time for the British, don't we, Scoobs? Because let's be honest, Simon, the majority of us are all European, aren't they? The community that me and Pete are in, basically. So I just thought, you know what? I'll try one at 9 o'clock at night. Sometimes, honestly, my missus goes mental though because it's like it's a weird time to do it at 3, 4 o'clock. Do you not think, Pete?
I've really got to plan ahead with my work day to make sure that it, like either, okay, I'm going to work really, really hard the day before or the day after to be able to park it and have fun in the afternoon.
Well,
it feels like you're cheating. Like
it does, doesn't it? Because you have to.
Am I going to get caught?
You have to stop, don't you? And do this, and it's like, it's just weird. It's like my house. Usually you hear the dogs, like I'll say to Si before, you hear the dogs or you hear Jenny the kid. Nothing. Everyone's listening to this. It's quiet at Shabby's. So anyway, Gerard. Hey, G-Force.
G-Force.
Epic Badger is here. I mean, looking at his pictures he's been putting up on Instagram, he's been putting up some cool stuff, man. Kieran, hey, Kieran. Wow, loads of people here. Good old Scotty boy's here. Good old Keith's here.
Scotty up, Pop.
Ricardo's here. Good old Ricardo. I know, size and also. Good old Mr. B. Hey, pal. Hey, Mr. B. Hey.
What's up, Tom?
I know. I can even do better than that. Look.
Hey.
I bet he's sick of the sight of me today. I've been speaking
Why?
to John all day. I bet he's like, oh God, him again.
Oh, good
I've
old
been
boy.
watching how he's been changing his room round, and he's been coming in the chats and showing us the surround. It looks really good what he's done.
Well, I think he's going to come in here, isn't he? I think John's going to come in here. So when he does,
Cool.
he can show us around and so forth. Let's see. Well,
looks
can't believe 20 people here. Unbelievable. So absolutely nothing to do with Babe Station.
Yeah, that might have helped along the lines. Babe Station starts at 10.
He knows exactly what he's on. How long's he been going for, Babe Station?
22 years.
22 years.
I remember when I first got to the States, all the lads, because I was only a young lad when I was here, and all the lads in America would tell me about Skinamax. Oh, you got to watch Skinamax. Skinamax.
Yes, late night Cinemax.
Yeah, but I think it's Cinemax, but they called it Skinamax, didn't they? You got to watch Skinamax. Yeah, I can't say I did or didn't watch it.
Was that like the Red Shoe Diaries and stuff?
Right, yeah, exactly.
Well, yeah. After dark B movies,
but it's so crazy because I mean, no, I don't know if it was Red Shoe Diaries. I've never watched any of that.
Red Shoe Diaries, is that was it about?
Right. Left Coast Graphics, are you, Rick? Oh man, and again, this is another thing, isn't it? What we were talking about. There's going to be lads here that through the day, like the Canadians and the Americans and the Australians who are at work, it's in the morning, they can come and say hello now, can't they? So this is awesome. This is nice. So Q says he also doesn't sleep much. I didn't because of London. No. I was in London for years. And where I lived was right in the centre, right off from Baker Street. So and the next block to me was Oxford Street, which is the world's busiest retail street. So you can imagine constant noise all the time. And it's funny, it wasn't until I came out here that I wet myself, because by 5, 6 o'clock it's dead here. You've been here, Pete. You see what it's like. It's dead. Yeah. And I'm like, Simon, honestly, mate, when I first got here, I was like, I ain't going to survive 2 minutes. Do you know what I mean? It's weird. It's weird because I'm a person that's more comfortable with noise than I am when it's quiet. Do you know what I mean? Well, I'm used to it now.
What's really interesting is when you were living in London as a young single man, your bedroom was actually called Piccadilly Circus.
Well,
no, just the circus. The clowns he had in and out of there.
Oh, brilliant. Brilliant. Actually, it was Cinemax UK version. That's what it was.
Cinemax London version.
Oh, brilliant. Wiz is here, eh, Wiz?
Lady Shabberley's lover.
Reynolds. Look at that. Reynolds is up and running.
What's up, Luke?
It's strange.
I love the way that since Mark's moved to America, he's got it in his head that everybody in the UK gets tucked up in bed for 8 o'clock. And if anybody is up at a certain time, he's astonished. He's like, what are we up for? It's got 11 o'clock. I'm like, they're all 50 and over, Mark.
Hi, Carol. Good old Carol. Wow, you absolutely.
2 a.m. in the old.
I mean, it's like I said, I'm going to start doing a few more of these, and I was going to get Pete, and our side will obviously do it for us. And so I don't know, it's weird because I feel like Tub Thumpers and CSR will always be the time it is, because that's when we do it. But it's also nice for this because now I think we're the only ones, us American ones, because the English are all doing it when they've had the tea, the kids are in bed, everything's calm. Do you know what I mean? So they come on and do it. So this is kind of nice.
Yeah, even the cats are asleep in my house right now. They're all just, nobody's running around going bonkers. God bless Babe Station.
It's God bless dogs as well. God bless Babe Station. Baker Street and Oxford Street are mental busy. I was in the robbery squad around that area in the mid-90s. Yeah, I love it around there. If I had got married or whatever, or come over to America or whatever, I think I would have been in London forever. I loved it. I was a massive, massive fan. And even now I watch stuff for it. And I always, even though London wouldn't be the same for me now. I'm nearly 50. Do you know what I mean? So it's not as if I'd have the same life as I did when I was in my early 20s. But I love London. I've got a big soft spot, especially watching Adam the Woo. I've just watched Adam the Woo in London, and I suppose
I haven't checked in where he was.
I think that's the way he does it as well. It's like one of your mates filming around London, like when Jason took us around Thailand that time. Do you remember?
Yeah,
Jason?
That was cool.
That was brilliant. The way Jason did that for us.
I was too scared to watch it. Just going around town. I didn't know what he was going to be filming.
Right? Yeah.
The black shirt chat. Oh, brilliant. Shabby was infamous for his big top. Well, I cannot agree or disagree with that statement, Kieran Paul. You know,
If he moved back, he would still use his same pickup line. You want to see my Sherlock Holmes?
Oh, brilliant. Hey, Tim. Good old Tim's here.
Hey, what's up, Tim? Yeah, Tim's in California, so it's
6
3
o'clock.
hours. Yeah, 6 o'clock his way. So
it's all right for Tim. Ejected myself into the toy room tonight to catch you boys. See how much I love you all. I hate spending nights in my toy room. Oh yeah, I bet you cut it. Tucked up in you Return of the Jedi, do mate?
Yeah, the trotting one hand, brace down the other.
Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to, and like I say, it's just an informal thing tonight, boys. So I'm going to put the link in the chat, and you're more than welcome to come on. You're more than welcome. You don't have to do anything special. It's just lads having a chat.
Yeah, and talking Babe Station. If any of you are on your break or anything, just come on here for a bit. Come and have a chat with us for 10 minutes while you're on your break. That as well. Late night.
Break night. I was going to bring up something with you both, a topic that we can have a chat about. And I was thinking about this afternoon. I was in my toy room and I got a couple of things delivered today. So I opened it up and I took my pictures and I put it all together. And then I had that moment of clarity. I don't know whether you lot have done it, where you sit around your toy room and you realize what you've accumulated and what you've got in there, and over the past few months and years, how big it grows. But the funniest thing is about it is, how did it start? I mean, out of all the things we could have done, why pop culture, right? So my point is this: my old man is not into pop culture. I mean, my mum kind of dabbles in it. My mum's always collected little things here and there and done a thing, but my dad never was. My man and Simon's dad is a professional musician. And I don't remember one time, our dad ever talking about Spider-Man or Batman or Star Wars or anything like that. Do you?
Yeah, in the early days, like my dad would never let me miss Batman 66, and it was on stupid o'clock in the morning. But my dad would always make sure I was up for it. He'd never let me miss it. But I think that was about it. And I think that, like you said, Mark, was more for the fact he knew I loved it than he loved it. Do you know what I mean? But saying that, my dad took us to the cinemas for Star Trek. That was the first film we ever saw. And
yeah, but what I'm saying though, it's right. Well, I'll give you an example. Pete's dad. Your dad's got that huge train section.
Oh, yeah.
Now, he's probably had that forever, Annie. Can you remember a time he didn't have it?
There is a picture somewhere of me, and I'm probably 3 or 4 years old, and I'm riding a tricycle, and to the side of the picture is a train layout, a train board,
right?
That he and my grandfather, worked on, and I mean, I can remember driving under it, my tricycle, like
yeah.
So yeah, we've always had a train board one way or another, and both mom and dad, like, they collect antiques, not just dad's into really anything train, like New York Central railroad memorabilia, so like conductors hats and tea sets and everything that was like branded back in the day for when riding the rails was an elegant affair. And mom still, she has her like Depression era glassware, spoons, crockery,
Dave,
you name it. So like I get it. I get that collecting gene, honestly, from them, but they also went out of their way to make sure that I was dialed into pop culture with the same with like Batman 66, TOS, original series Star Trek.
Yeah.
Obviously that was on a replay, but dad would be like, hey, sit down. I think you're going to like this. And we would go see the new Star Trek movies. We would see all the new James Bond movies. And then everything Disney was putting out, Pete's Dragon, I think, was probably one of the first that we saw in the theater that I can remember from Disney. So always pop culture.
It's just funny because it's like I said, we're all big pop culture guys, regardless of what we come on and talk about in the behind the scenes or on YouTube or in this, it's always to do with pop culture. But I was just thinking to myself, where did the actual love of pop culture? It's like when we talk about Star Wars or Batman and so, it actually generally means something to us. It's not just like if you had a chat to Jen about it or Claire, they're just going, yeah, all right, you know what I mean? They like it. Don't get me wrong, but we take it another way. And I don't know, Si. I'd just love to know where this actually, where our love for this comes from, you know, because I love cars and I love this and that, but this is what we do, innit? This is our thing, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I just think it's a load of things together. Like for me, I can always source it out, and that's comic books. My love of it all came from comic books in the beginning. But remember, we lived in that golden era of 1980 to 1990. Where music was fantastic, design was fantastic, films. We lived in the golden generation of movies. And I just think we're a bit rich to that now. Whereas because it's not been like continued in that sort of same vein, we're a bit like, well, back in my day.
Yeah, back in the day.
Yeah.
But
the
rightfully
truth is,
so.
when you still make something, you can still make good stuff. You know, it's like now where I think it was Andy Lemire or somebody put that list up in the group of all the films that were successful of them decades. And like what you said, Shabs, it's vast. It's this film is about this, and this film's science fiction, and this one's a western, and this one's about dancing. And yet they were all like top tier movies that we all enjoyed. That seems to have gone a lot.
And there were
Dave
says
that, I wish I could go. Sorry, Pete. He said, I wish I could go back to the 80s. Things were so much awesome. Go on, Pete. What were you saying?
Oh, just that. They were awesome. And I think we knew it was awesome. You know, all those movies that would come out just in 1 year, you know, now you kind of go, oh, what was the blockbuster hit of 2020? You know, and it's like, and
that's so
but
true.
back then you were like, Beverly Hills Cop, you know, you just a Terminator, you know.
Well, does it not feel like today it's like they release these films as like, this is your blockbuster this year. This is the one you're all going to spend your money on and all go and see. Whereas back in our day, it was more of a case of they put films out because they loved the sense of making movies. And if it was a massive success, that was even better, you know. But it just seems today like we're told what your blockbuster is going to be and what you know what to expect. And but it was never like that, really, was it? Like films were a big hit for the sake of being a good film.
Is it because, Si, we're just looking at it through old eyes? Like
that's what confuses me now sometimes. That's what I think. But I don't sometimes, because like I said, there are certain films over these past 5 years that I've gone to see and I've been like, that was brilliant. Do you know what I mean? Like I loved Far From Home, and I loved the Batman and the Penguin and things like that they did. They can still do good things today that I get excited about. Just not many, is it?
Yeah, they just don't come fast and furious.
Would you say it's not because of the competitiveness? It's like when we us lot talk about toys, right? We all have a history of toys and what we do and so forth. I think the love for our toys when it comes to the 80s and why it was so good is because it was so competitive. These companies were rivals with other companies. You know, oh, they bring out this, we'll bring out this. Oh, they brought out that, we'll bring out this. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah.
And maybe that's why. And maybe movies was the same thing, because when Andy did put that thing up with all those 80s movies on it and so forth, they were all from different companies. It wasn't just like it is now, like a Disney product and maybe Paramount, whatever. It was from everybody. You know, you've got Orion making things like RoboCop, which, you know, which is up there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
And
what do you think?
to that end, and welcome, Jesse. Good to see your face, dude.
Hey.
Do you think, like, because of the conglomerates, like this is a product of when you Hoover vacuum up all the little guys into one giant, you know, our studio encompasses blah, 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 you know, like that's where you start to just, it's been distilled down to, we're putting out this one movie this summer and it is our bestest effort because we've gobbled up all the little guys who otherwise would be doing their own, you know, RoboCops and whatnot, and be like, no, we bought them 2 years ago, you know, that kind of deal.
It's like there's a deal now that they don't clash, that they don't like.
Yeah, be like, well, we're not going to release it then because, well, you know, they're Disney's dropping their whatever. And
I would also argue though it's also a big change in consumer. and I can only speak from like the 90s forward. I was born in 86, but I don't remember that part of the 80s. So, but I do feel like as a consumer since the 2000s, really, since the evolution of television and reality TV and all that kind of stuff that's grown out of then, there's so much new choice in everything.
Yeah.
That it's just like, okay, I understand this is a big blockbuster of the summer, but instead of being like 3 or 4 or 5 big movies for the summer, there's movies, then there's streaming services.
It's a very good point.
Then there's YouTube streaming and related services, and people have diversified in terms of what they enjoy. Where it's instead of I'm going to go to the movie theater every other weekend, I don't do that anymore like I did in the 90s and 2000s. I have other stuff I care about, and I just the term blockbuster means nothing to me. It's really up to, does this suit my specific interests? I think
does blockbusters now, Jesse, mean money? Because look at the films. I mean, RoboCop wasn't a lot of money. I mean, it was dirt cheap. Gremlins was dirt cheap to make. Goonies was dirt, but they were massive. You know, and then that's the thing. I think that's where we've gone wrong sometimes, is because if you think, I think they try and sell us over the fact that this movie cost $350 million to make. So what? Do you know what I mean? It's like, I don't mean anything.
Writing's crap.
Well, I've always said that thing. I remember you lot telling me about Star Trek 66, and I'd never seen it, and I'd watched it, and it's made out of cardboard, but the story is so good that 60, 70 years afterwards, you're thinking you forget all about that simply because it keeps you riveted. You know, the way the story is and the acting and the way it looks and so on. So I've never been one to fall for that. Like, oh, well, if it's CGI, this CGI costs millions of dollars. I don't understand what that means.
Change I would also argue. I grew up in an era. I mean, you all grew up in an era also of video games in the 80s, but in the 90s, it exponentially scaled, where the video games I was playing in 90s through 2000s into college, the amount of time the CGI movies that get built for those games there's more hours watching those, just the parts you don't play, than a standard movie. I get more entertainment from going back to college, like Red Dead Redemption and Mass Effect, in terms of story and watch hours, and then game hours on top of that, which could be 40 to 60 hours per game. I don't really need to go spend money at a movie theater when I can spend $60 or $40 or whatever on a game, and I play it for like a year.
The Uncharted did that for me. The Uncharted games, I loved the Uncharted games simply because of that. You're playing a story. Do you know what I mean? So,
the Indiana Jones video game, is it 4.5 hours of cut scenes when you put them all together? It's massive. It's longer than a blockbuster.
Have you played it yet? Have you played it, Si, that Indiana Jones game?
No, because I'm strictly PlayStation. It's not out here till March. So that's when the new Indiana Jones is out, because it was going to be Xbox exclusive at first, wasn't it? But because of the rise of this game and everything, they said we'll bring it out on Xbox first, then we'll put it on the PlayStation. So I'm going to wait till March.
And I just can't think of movies that can compete with some recent games, like in terms of storylines, like the new God of War Ragnarok. It's even the first God of War remake, but the new version that came out a few years ago, Kratos now has a son. This big Spartan man who in the first few games was killing all the gods of Olympus is now a father. And you're so invested in that story of this guy who's like, I don't know how to raise this kid. Now in the second game of that new series, it keeps raising the stakes of what is fatherhood for an Olympic god.
Yeah.
And when I compare it to like Marvel movies and other movies, I'm just like, that doesn't, the story doesn't grab me in the same way as like this or The Last of Us, which was very successful. When it transitioned into television. So like, the movies haven't been able to compete on the same scale as some other forms of entertainment that I've been enjoying. And
so you would say it was social media then? That's because it's like Kieran's saying right here. Back in my day, 70s, of all the famous Hollywood studios still existed, and they would have to compete with each other by making better movies. It's not like today. We've had that discussion before, lads, where we've turned around and said one of the things I wish that things like Marvel and Star Wars and Pixar didn't do was sell it to the same company. It's simply not because of the way that company would do stuff. It's the fact that it takes away the competitiveness, you know, because they can't watch somebody else make a movie now and go, oh, now we're going to have to get ours up and running. Do you see what I mean? Does that make sense to you guys, what I'm saying there?
Yeah, it brings me back to not a discussion I had, but a discussion you had with the Phantom Menace. Because for your generation, Star Wars was the films you saw in cinema.
Yeah.
For me growing up in the 90s, Star Wars was the video games primarily, plus some of the comics, plus the toys, because Galoob and Hasbro were killing it. I would say like the movies really were not in that top tier until they got re-released in theaters in 97. But for me, like Star Wars was this whole other game, and the movies were the cinema part was kind of down here.
That's fascinating. It's like the opposite.
And that's not everyone in my generation. I'm somewhere in like the middle of that scale. But it's like what you would think is like a big movie, a genre defining movie, to me in the 90s was like, it's okay. It's, you know, Jurassic Park was also good. And someone in your generation would be like, that you can't compare those. It's like, but for me, I can. Like,
sure,
it's okay. It's good. Yep. I'm not saying it's okay, but I'm just like in scale.
Yeah.
You know, cinema to me is just a little bit different because we have all these other forms of media that can go with it.
Well, we've talked about, you know, like the Silo, which is awesome, you know, streaming, or I'm on Severance.
Yeah.
On Apple. Like that's, oh my gosh, I'm like excited for the next. I get just as excited, like, oh, it's Friday, they're dropping a new episode, as a blockbuster, right?
Yeah.
Because I'm like, this is a really good storyline. But you're right. I can't tell you the last time I went to the movie theater.
I can. It was Godzilla. Because there's just there's so little new Godzilla in terms of media that when a movie came out, I was like, yes. Well, and there is the American Godzilla, which I think is fine. But I'm so starved for Godzilla content that I was so excited when that came out.
And it's so good. I thoroughly enjoyed -1.
It does mix it up a bit, and you are exactly right. But it's the same as what Dave just said then about the music genre and so forth. To me now, it just feels like your big blockbusters are always the same typical superhero movies. It's not, you know, I mean, there used to be a time where you'd go through so many different, you know, genres and stuff. It's like I said, if you look at the films when we were growing up, Explorers to Stand By Me to Goonies to E.T. to the Star Wars to Raiders, it was all different genres constantly. But I can't say one was better than the other one. Do you know what I mean? You'd sit there and watch, I don't know, Return of the Jedi, but then you'd sit there and watch Pee-wee's Big Adventure, and these are awesome. Do you know what I mean? I mean, what do you think was the last great movie that wasn't a Marvel, a superhero movie was? Like that we all loved, in a way.
Whoa.
Sad that, isn't it?
That we all loved. It's hard because everyone has their own niche now, where like people are really big into the movies like the Bourne movies or I forget, I don't watch them, but like the thrillers. People are super into those, and they'd say those are the big movies. But it's like, I don't know because I don't watch them. We're so oversaturated with choice that we fall into our niches of what our
with your sweet spot.
Because we all have our silos that we're all a part of now that I didn't have when I was younger. It was
I pretty much watch every single thing that's put on every single streaming service. Seriously. I watched all the rom-coms. I watched all the holiday movies when they came out. I've watched all the action movies. I've watched all the heist movies. I've watched all the race movies. I've watched most of the documentaries. I mean, I'm always searching for something I haven't watched yet because without having a job now, I've always got something on the TV, even when I'm working on YouTube or working on consulting or anything I do from home to make passive income. I'm working from the moment I wake up till probably 3 or 4 in the afternoon, but I've always got something on that television running. So I end up watching every single thing that comes on because I just
binge watching the Hallmark Channel, Chevy.
Yeah, basically, because I just want something new. I just want something new that I haven't seen before. But I think the problem, here's what I wonder. I'm not going to say I think this, but I wonder if it's the scarcity. When we grew up, we could not watch Goonies over and over and over. We could not watch The Explorers over and over and over. We saw The Explorers once in the theater, and then we had to wait 20 years before it came out on VHS.
Right? Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and then you'd rent it, and you get to have it for 2 days at home. And you might
watch the hell out of it.
You'll try to watch it 3 or 4 times, but you've got school. You had after school things you had to do, like track practice, even though you didn't want to be in track. Your parents made you.
You can watch it after your homework's done.
Then you had to do homework. And it was like, so you may have got to watch it 3 or 4 more times, but then it was back at you had to return it. And so you didn't get to watch it again. So in your head, you had to relive those movies in your head, where nowadays, if I want to relive the Extraction movie, I just put it back on I just watch it on the streaming service again. I don't have to relive it in my head. Yeah. So even though a movie like Extraction was really, really good, I don't put it at the level of what do we got? Let's say Hard Target or Lionheart or something, some action film that I watched when I was a kid, Bloodsport, because even though you could argue, okay, Extraction was way better than Bloodsport on the surface, but I have a better place in my head for Bloodsport just because I think it was the scarcity of it. Like, I couldn't watch it all the time, but I've watched Extraction probably 10 times already. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, so I question, I'm like, is it because things are at your fingertips that nothing has the same impact that they did when we had one shot to watch it and that was it? You know what I mean?
Well, it's famine or feast back then, because as you said, we have one shot to watch it, or you get the VHS tape and that's all you get to watch, and you watch it 50, 60 times. Over time, and then you're like, you're so starved for anything else.
Yeah.
I would say though, going to the video store was one of the best things ever.
It was
such a cool thing to do. I mean, you'd be in there for about an hour and a half before you picked out a film, wouldn't you, Si? You'd look at the it was more what took your fancy, the on the back of it, reading it, and then obviously the cover of it and so forth. I just loved those days. I really did. Keith.
That's how we found so many movies that I don't think that, like, I think a lot of people overlook today. Like, my friend Nofrio and I would go through and we would skip the blockbuster section and just go right to these are the movies that nobody's ever heard of before. We're like,
the ones behind the shower curtain. No, not those.
No. I mean, like, we'd go over to the science fiction and horror section. We'd be like, look, it's Q for Quetzalcoatl. You know what I mean? There's like a flying serpent snake on here that eats people. Let's watch this.
Yeah.
Or we'd be like,
but it had a cool cover. So you're like,
or we'd be like, oh, this one's called Monster Dog. Some guy turns into a monster dog and rips his girlfriend apart. Let's take this one.
Yeah. It's a weird that one. I remember the new releases as well. They'd have about 12 behind there, so you'd race in together and they'd all be gone.
G-Force brings up a really good point. How many movies did we pick just for the covers? Because that's a whole industry of like, this movie sucks, but let's have some good artists draw this amazing artwork on it.
But I think that's how we found things like Pee-wee's Big Adventure, Stand By Me, Explorers, because they weren't real. I mean, especially where me and Si and Keith are from, these weren't advertised like they were major motion pictures. We'd have to go to the you know what I mean? You'd hear it, you know, through your friends at school or somebody, and it's only through video stores you'd pick up movies like that become so iconic to us. Like, you know, it wasn't necessarily like it is now, your Marvel movies, which you pick up your phone or you go anywhere and you hear it straight away. When we were kids, we had to find these sort of films. Do you know what I mean?
Well, I saw Explorers in the theater, so but whatever.
Oh, love that movie.
I loved that movie, man. I was hooked instantly. That's the stuff that,
Shabby, you saying about Shabby, you saying about Pee-wee's Big Adventure. I've never heard of Pee-wee Herman. And me and my ex, we went out on holiday to the Dominican Republic. And one particular day, we had all the satellite TV in there, like in the hotel room. We had all the satellite channels. It was mostly American channels because obviously, you know, it's very Americanized out there. They accept the dollar and stuff like that as well as their own currency.
Yeah.
And this particular day, it was like a proper tropical storm. So it's like you can't go to the beach, you can't go anywhere really. You're sort of confined to barracks. So he's channel hopping, and this film comes on, Pee-wee's Big Adventure. I've never heard of it, and we started watching it. And I'll tell you what, we sat there, and for the 2 hours, I was absolutely pissing myself laughing. It's one of the funniest things I've ever seen. And that's. But you're absolutely right. If I'd have not been in a foreign country, I probably would never have seen that film.
That's what I mean. It was not like, and maybe that's where the difference is now. Jesse made a good point before that. When it's funny because it's like we talk about video games and everyone turns out, oh well, but we did have video games when we were kids. But we still managed to do everything else. So we still managed to play outside. We still managed to go to the video store. We still managed to spend time with our friends and play sports. It wasn't just. Am I wrong there? Because I don't think I am. I think
there was also the times where I got the new Dragon Warrior game, and I put it in on a Thursday night, and then I stayed home from school Friday. And then Monday morning, I finished the game. And I had played 24/7 from Thursday night till Monday morning. No sleep, no food, nothing. I just played the game. Yeah, I just played the game. You know, and I remember one time I felt really weird. And I actually went to my dad and I said, I think I need to go to the hospital. Something's wrong. And he goes, well, you haven't moved from your room in about 4 days. You've just been playing that damn video game. And he goes, you haven't walk. He goes, what's probably wrong with you is you haven't eaten any food in 4 days. So he's like, you know,
my legs are numb.
Yeah, it's interesting because, like, yes, in the 80s you had video games. It's not like it wasn't there before.
Yeah,
but as the generations go on, when you move from as a Nintendo kid, NES to Super NES to Cube to 64, and I was also a PC gamer. It's like in the 80s, your games were like your short games, and you either gave up after 5 minutes or you played it over and over again for a few hours, but then you'd stop. But then the 90s, they got progressively larger, and then you started to introduce online elements.
And Dragon Warrior, these are the ones I'm talking about. That first Final Fantasy game took you 90 hours to complete.
Yeah, Final Fantasy 7.
Yeah,
and then
I mean Final Fantasy, the first game for the Nintendo, the NES. Yeah,
but they get progressively, going to the 2000s. It's just it's an exponential increase in like the amount of investment you have to put into gaming.
Wait, did this ever happen to any of you lot? It says Kieran says here, my village rental store actually rented Scammers and the thing to me when I was only 14. Did they have that thing, Si? I don't remember that. Or did they have that when we were kids? Like you can't rent that if it was an 18 or whatever in a video store.
I think they always like sort of. It was like buying cigarettes underage. Back in the day, they weren't really bothered. Like if you had a letter off your dad and it said, "I've come to get 2 videos and he wants that one," they'd give it you. They'd be like, "Go on then."
Yeah, that's
take
true.
I think.
I agree with that.
Because let's be fair, in the 80s, and I suppose like we saw a lot of things like we shouldn't have been watching. Really, do you know what I mean? From the thing to RoboCop, you know.
Yeah, there was a
I remember
corner
when
store down.
RoboCop come out. I think I was 13, 14, and all my mates at school were talking about
Memories.
RoboCop, and it was like,
know.
it was ultra violent.
It was difficult for
Yeah.
me because I lived in a town of maybe 2,000 people. Like, if the video rental guy gave me a movie I was not should be watching, my dad knows where to find them. And I'm not talking the video rental store. I mean, like, what block down the road to go find them.
Yeah. I'm
But
gonna
we
have
had
a
a
word
little-
with Bob.
I grew up in the same thing. My graduating class, only like 50 people graduated. It was like our school was super small. There might have been like maybe 2,000 families in the whole town. And yeah, I mean, then we had a little corner store, and I remember I could walk in there and I'd be like, well, grandma sent me down for a thing of rum, a bottle of rum. I need a 6-pack of beer for my grandfather, and then I got to buy 2 packs of cigarettes, and we're renting those 3 movies. And they'd give me all the crap, even though I'm a 12-year-old kid. I'm like a 12-year-old
you're just the errand
kid.
boy.
Yeah, they'd be like, "Well, if it's all for your grandparents, that's fine." You know,
Well, it was the same as us when we were. I remember drinking in pubs at 13, 14, 15, definitely. But the thing about it, I've always looked at pubs in England, especially north. Well, Keith will probably contest this. He's from the south, but where me and Si were from, like churches over here. It's more of a community-based thing. It's where everybody gathers and you know what I mean, where your church fairs are and your you know, things for you. And ours were like that. And I think the majority of landlords that let you drink in 14, 15 in there, it's because it's a generational thing at pub. Your older brothers were in there. Their mates were in there. Your dad was in there with his mates and so forth. And they'd rather have you in the pub, keeping your eye on than you would on the streets.
Yeah.
Do you see what I mean? So it's funny here because
Yeah.
I'll go into a bar in America and there'll be a 21st birthday. And honestly, sometimes it makes me laugh because they act like they're about 13 having a drink. It's because it's so strict over here.
Yeah.
They can't, do you know what I mean? And I think when we got to 21, we've done it all, basically. And I think as well, when you go into a pub so young at 14, 15, you were so frightened to death of getting your ass kicked if you carried on and made you just got knocked out of you by the time you got to 21, you know?
That's true, that, because it wasn't just your dad in them pubs, it was all your dad's mates and all that. And if they caught you in pubs and stuff at the age of 16, 15, they'd give you a right hiding, wouldn't they? Get out of that bloody pub till you're 18, you know, they would.
Yeah, but we were always in there though, weren't we? We were always in there, you know, and it's things like that. But I don't remember it ever being on videos. Do you, Keith, do you ever remember it being on, like, you're not allowed to rent a video because of your age?
I remember being age restricted, but I mean, I used to go into our local video shop, and I would the first video cassette that I ever saw was the original Zombies Dawn of the Dead, the George Romero Dawn of the Dead, and I was so in love with that film. I was absolutely infatuated with that film. It was just so gory, and that's when I first fell in love with the M16 rifle. By the way, just bizarre curiosity. And I used to go into the video shop up the road from me, and I used to hire that out all the time, every other week. And I would have been about 15, 16, so no one stopped me. No one ever said you're too young, you know. It's like Simon.
To be fair though, Keith, it weren't all blockbusters, were they? It was like your local corner shop, wasn't it? Like, you knew the guy in the shop. It was the same place you bought your cigarettes and your bread from. And so it wasn't like it was like a blockbuster that we were getting ready from.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I don't remember being sort of 14,
Ours were always
15,
just
16. I don't remember,
like an old
I don't
house,
remember
you know.
the video existing.
Yeah.
I've seen that, Pete. I've seen that. When we go treasure hunting or toy hunting, whatever, or the amount of places I've gone to pick up furniture, Pete, you're exactly right. There's a place next door. It's just like an old house, but it's got full of VHSs in there. Oh, there used to be an old video, so it's just like a normal house. So I do agree with you.
Yeah,
I've
walk
seen
in with the creaky floors and
Let's have a look. That is the magic in the show. That is the magic in this.
Do you want to see some?
Always magic.
Do you want to see some?
PGM, you are watching. PGM, you are watching the magic. You are watching the magic. And you're welcome, by the way.
But I do agree with what Jesse said before, and I've always said the same thing, Jesse, about that with the games, where you said games now are more for your generation involving than a movie is. I've always said the same thing with us collecting Star Wars figures. Back in our day, even though we did have these games consoles, to be fair, they weren't very good. And within 20 minutes, you were bored of them. You'd play Pong, you'd play Space Invaders, you'd play whatever, then you were bored. You'd be on your bike, you'd be getting your figures out. But if I had Battlefront 2 when I was 10 years of age, I would have never looked at Star Wars figures. I just would never. It's so immersive. You're in this game. There's 40 other players playing from around the world. You're all fighting for a cause. There's no way I'd have picked up Little Men giving it. Oh, I think that's imagination side of toys is completely gone with Lego, with games, with all sorts. I think for me, it's like I think there's the way movies will go. I think especially with Grand Theft Auto 6 coming out, that's going to be bigger than any movie release ever on that day of any time.
The amount of YouTube channels that are shutting down because Grand Theft Auto 6 has come out. No one will be on YouTube anymore. Do you know what I mean?
But it's like what you said before about Red Dead. I mean, Red Dead's such a fantastic story, and then you find yourself immersed in it, and then all of a sudden you're in it playing it. You've got to sort out the next bit of it, and you're like, "This is great," you know. So I do understand like the world today for that side of it.
Yeah, being a Western kid, it's like, you know, you can play with cowboys and Indians, but it's like, now you can get on a horse and ride out through the mesas and be in the Red Desert. Or a good example you mentioned is like playing with toys. I actually have one here. You know, this was from 98. So this is like the last toy I had before I quit playing with them. You know, so I could play with these Battle Squad toys from Galoob. Mm-hmm. But they're over there, but there were flight simulators that were getting so sophisticated that as a 10, 11-year-old kid, I'm learning about how to assemble flight packages for a squadron to launch missions. And it's like, you know, it's like I would rather be on a flight sim flying, you know, modern jets than be sitting on the couch, you know, playing with a toy at that age. Yeah, you drop the interest in plastic when you have something so immersive.
Well, look at that Gran Turismo movie that came out, and it's a true story about those lads that were so good at this game. They actually went and did They actually did real life Gran, and I'm like, what?
The one kid won. The one kid won.
Yeah, I was like, this is unbelievable, you know. And so yeah, I agree with that. The way it's all done and dusted, but it's like Keith will still customize his stuff. And I mean, I can only speak for myself, but I know there's lads on this panel right now and lads in the chat that toys come first for us, and it's the toy hunt, it's the finding stuff, it's, you know, a lot more, because I've got a PlayStation here, and I know John has. When was the last time we all played it together, John? Ages ago, wasn't it? You know,
well, like, I mean, I play PlayStation every single night.
I haven't picked up
with about 50 people. We're all in Diablo. We're all in Diablo 4. We have a clan of like 50 some people, and usually most nights there's 30 to 40 on. I mean, it's like it's a massive game. We play Diablo every single night, and we have been since it came out. You know,
for me, it's been a kind of a bell curve where young age, teenage, it was all gaming up through college, and then as I've been working more, my hours in gaming, even though I'm still in the zeitgeist of gaming and I follow the news and everything, my actual playtime has significantly dropped, because as an adult, it's like, I really need to go on some road trips and get out of the house. And it's like, I'm at a computer all day working, and it's like, I don't really want to sit on a computer now at, you know, in my late 30s. I want to get outside.
But I don't think that's an age thing, you see, because like I say, you're at least 10 years younger than the rest of us. It's like, I like the PlayStation and stuff now, but I love the thrill of the hunt. I love going out to flea markets and yard sales and, you know what I mean, meeting up when we all go to Joe Fest or whatever. That's out of all of this, because tonight's theme, like I said, is about pop culture. That's my favorite thing to do. Or when somebody picks something up that you haven't seen in years, or you showed something today, John, when you were around your room, of that Fisher Price space thing, and we were all like, no way, look at that. We haven't seen that for years. And that to me what it is. So I don't know whether it's because of what we did as kids, where we'd play our football, we'd go out, we'd do this. We weren't just set on one thing, were we? You know, we did everything when we were kids, if you will. You know, so let's have a look. So Kieran Strick, there was a beaded curtain separating adult film. There was also one there,
like force field.
I remember pirate movies when we were kids. So it's like Reservoir Dogs. Reservoir Dogs never came out in England because it was pirated. They banned it in England because of the year scene. So we
pirate movies that way. I was thinking like
matey.
Yeah.
Shiver me
with that, the Jolly Roger. That's a different kind of movie.
Shabby, let me ask you a quick question because I've heard this as a rumor and I want to know if it's true. So when we today think of pirates and is it true that accent is, I think it's West Country, where it in like the 20s or before in Britain, it was more associated with like agriculture and rural accents, and then an actor brought it into the Hollywood setting and it became synonymous with pirate culture? Is that just something I've heard, or is there something to that?
That's a good point.
Well, when you think of pirates, I always think of pirates from like Mediterranean places like that, and Africa. I don't ever think of them from
the accent, those
so the accent. That's what I'm saying. So the accent, I believe, must have been bled through like that, because pirates wouldn't necessarily talk like "wow, Jim," like they wouldn't if they were from them areas. So that's probably Jesse, right. Yeah, that's probably. Yeah.
Jesse, do you know why they're called pirates?
No.
Because they are.
Oh, okay.
Hey, Si. Hey. I still got it.
Hold him to best, kid. Hold him to best.
He's never left me, Keith. He's never left me. Well, yeah, I do know, Keith. Why pirates have that accent? Keith, do you know why they have that sort of Cornish kind of accent? No.
No.
Jesse, that's a good question, man. I'd never had.
Why?
So that's what you're saying.
Sorry, Shabby. Oh, Shabby, was you being serious? I thought he was going to come out with another absolute cracking joke in for a minute. No, I haven't.
Keep waiting for
it. Well, I looked it up.
I was waiting for the.
Oh, you have?
I asked.
I'm still waiting for the Buccaneers joke. The Buccaneers joke. Everyone's on Buccaneers.
On my Buccaneers.
I asked Google AI search. I said, why do pirates have the accents we hear in movies? And it says, in movies, the pirate portrayed with a distinct accent because it goes all the way back to the influence of an actor named Robert Newton, who exaggerated his natural West Country English accent when he played Long John Silver in the film Treasure Island.
That's just the way that Coke did Santa Claus in red, wasn't it? So we all now make Father Christmas Santa Claus in a red outfit, but it wasn't, was it? It was Coke that did that.
Yeah,
so that's what it was. That one guy with the accent now portrays every other.
So
that's interesting.
Where's West Country? Because the only parts of England I've been to are Chippenham and Bath,
right,
and then north in Chester.
Chester's Chester's a beautiful place. I love. I went for a romantic weekend with my wife to Chester.
Ooh. Sorry, Keith.
John, Bath is the West Country. Bath is Avon and Somerset, so that's the West Country.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a beautiful
if you look at the map if you look at the map of England, then that little bit that goes to the left, that little bit that sort of goes off, country basically. That's the West Country, which is Devon and Cornwall, Avon and Somerset, Wiltshire. I suppose technically parts of that could be classed as the West Country, but the West Country is Devon and Cornwall and Avon and Somerset.
Yeah, beautiful part of the world as well. It's gorgeous.
It is a very part of the world. Yeah,
it is.
Yeah.
My favourite aspect of collecting Star Wars toys will always be the hunt. It's our favourite thing to do, isn't it? It's getting harder to do, I'll be honest. It is. You know what I mean? It's like there's not as much cool stuff out there used to be, but I do love it. I really do. I thought Uncle Keith, the historian, would have had that something. Well, John worked that out. Good day, Muzzer. Good day, Muzzer. What a great time for lunch break to catch up with my favourite people. Cheers, Muzz. It's great.
I was thinking about him today. That's really strange. I was thinking about Muzzer today. And I was thinking, I haven't seen that name for ages in the chat. I've not seen that name for a while, and then he's popped up tonight.
He's a good lad.
One for our show, John, one for the show.
What's the difference between a hippo and a Zippo? I have no idea. Does anyone know? Do you know, John?
Well, I mean, one's a lighter and one's an animal. I mean, what
Yeah.
seems like a big difference
The
to me.
Zippo's lighter.
Yeah.
Is it the H and the Z?
I don't know. That's What'd it be like that, Jesse? What'd it be? H and Z. Well, no, right. Tapsy's right next to the bath, Badger. I tell you what.
He's writing these down. That's good.
Tapsy's next to the bath. That's the floor, I tell you. Give him the bastard now.
Absolutely brilliant. Absolutely. I'm going to move Scuba Pete over to here because our Scuba has picked up some cool stuff. So let me just put my wear size. You can see size pretty.
All right.
Well, he's got a Kraken on his T-shirt. I think that's the coolest thing.
Thank you. So, we're increasing your GI Joe knowledge tonight, Shabby. So you have the.
What is that?
That is the Skyhawk, but this is the Sky Patrol version. So it's all chromed out, and this is Sky Patrol cool. Started in 1990.
Yeah,
with GI Joe. So
now, as they went into the 90s, would that be the same mold as it was in the 80s, like what Kenner did in the 90s to the Star Wars stuff?
Yeah,
it's
so
exactly the same. Yeah,
exactly the same, and it was done in kind of an olive drab, just the original Skyhawk. But yeah, so for Sky Patrol, they started just chroming everything.
And I believe, wasn't it? Didn't they have different names? Like that wasn't actually the Skyhawk again, wasn't it? A slightly different name?
They did, yeah. They gave everybody like special. One's quite heavy and one's a little lighter, right?
He asked what the difference between a hippo and a Zippo was. One's quite heavy and one's very good, was it? That's
no,
where did you find that?
No, they left it the same. They called it the Sky Patrol Skyhawk. That's it, yeah.
There you go. Okay. Well, that's one of the rare ones that they didn't change the name because
yeah.
You had all the Tiger Force.
That's the 90s one, so that's more rare than the 80s one.
Definitely more expensive, yes.
Wow.
Yeah, with that because of the chromeness.
Yeah, that's beautiful,
and that's
man.
Well, and really the chrome often fades. Yeah, the chrome will
rubs off.
Yeah. But they did do you remember the shark? They did a sky shark, a chrome shark, and then they did it. What it was G.I. Joe captured one of Cobra's night ravens and painted it silver.
Yep.
And it became the Sky Raven,
That's right.
And then they took the Havoc and made it the Sky Patrol Havoc.
Yep.
Sky Havoc, yeah. Which I've got the Sky Havoc and I've got the Sky Hawk, but I don't have a Sky Shark or a Sky Raven yet. Those are
the Sky Shark's cool.
The Shark's at least on the list, but I don't think I'll ever get a Sky Raven because those are pretty darn expensive.
They're expensive, but they are gorgeous when you
is that an Equalizer?
Yes. So yes, we have Slaughter Marauders Equalizer. This is 1989.
I tell you,
I went through a while back and collected all those too. Those things are freaking.
The more it just pisses me off. Because I don't know. This is so up my street when I was a kid.
It's got the tow rope. I do need to fix this clip back here that gave up the ghost, but the price was right.
So that's the base of the Wolverine?
It is.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
They just, this looks like what, Ukraine's using now, for shooting down drones.
Yeah. The Zu-95, I think, is the Soviet equivalent.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty.
Yeah.
Well, the Slaughters Marauders guys, they took the Wolverine and did this, made the Equalizer. They took the Armadillo tank and made it into something else, and then they also did the Mauler tank and switched it up with a different with a different top. And it took a long.
Can I ask you something? Have I seen that in red, or was that somebody's custom? Was it in red, John, or is that somebody's custom? Have I seen that tank in red? Or was it a custom I've seen?
Red, it was a Sears exclusive.
Yeah.
Not as anti-aircraft. But yes, you've seen the tank red.
To get it like that.
So is that like one for the villains and one for the heroes? Is that what they did with a lot of that? Did they repaint it for a villain ship and did they do that a lot?
Was the red one Cobra?
The red was Cobra, was it was a Sears exclusive because I'm actually my buddy who got a toy shop nearby, he has one. He got it in a mega 10-tote deal.
Wow.
And he let down the back of his trailer and he's like, look at all these totes I just bought, And I'm like, ooh. And I pointed that one out. I'm like, I want the Crimson Tank. And he's like, it doesn't have the treads. And I was like,
I
not
don't
a problem. I'm like, I went and got, Mobat treads. So I'm good to go.
But it's surprising.
See, Shabby? See all my G.I. Joe knowledge lately, Shabs? You're not surprised
I tell you
at
what,
the question then after me?
Now we're going knockoff G.I. Joe. So this is Remco.
This is the Remco
from like the early 80s.
That one's cool.
And
I've never seen this. This is awesome.
It was done in obviously much cheaper plastic, but you had
that's
still 3 3/4, and the missile.
That is a great looking little missile.
Very similar to the action
That missile is just on a fence post,
right?
Yeah, that's a great little missile.
Reload.
Yeah.
Yep. So just a cool little dune buggy.
It is fascinating to me how these bits on this G.I. Joe all like this, though, because they look so fragile and how they're all still intact in this.
This is, like I said, this is kind of, weenie plastic, but it's in really good shape.
Wow. I like how
it's very similar to the Action Force SAS Jeep, isn't it?
Yeah, it does have that feel to it.
I'm thinking to myself, if that missile were pointed over the front of the vehicle, the guy in the passenger seat would get killed when it took off. The flyer would be going right back in his face.
Oh, sorry. I launched that prematurely. So
this is cool.
You got another little anti-aircraft. Okay, this is cool because it has a crank. Oh,
so it goes in and out. Wow, that's awesome.
Oh, cool. Not a proper old
I've
anti-aircraft
never seen these. So this is Remco also.
Yeah, this is also Remco. So it kind of looks like the.
You could put 2 guys on.
Yeah, 2 dudes in there, which is even better than the Joe version. But
wow.
Yeah.
What year are these, Remco? I've never seen these before.
This is, I think, like 81.
Wow, that's cool.
82.
Wow.
82. Let me see. What's my old man eyes say?
Well, they are as old as 82. Action Force, and
yeah, they are, Keith. Yeah,
82.
So it's almost like they are. It's almost like they are the Shirley equivalent to Action Force or G.I. Joe, as Shirley was to Action Man.
Yep.
Yeah. On the 1/6 scale.
Were they for? Do you remember the old? Was it Sergeant Rock? What year did they do the Sergeant Rock? Remco.
That was right in there too with competing for Joe, because I had at the same time I had 82, 83 Joes. I had Sergeant Rock.
Me too. Yeah, I had a bunch of them.
I've still got
Sergeant Rock was 1981. So those they could have intended to use those with Sergeant Rock figures.
Yep, I actually still have my little Zodiac for my original Sergeant Rock. So my last thing for you, because we're still staying in kind of knockoff territory, is
what is that?
So you might recognize the bits in there, as those were seen in the A-Team playset.
Yep. The backpacks were A-Team backpacks and everything. Yeah.
It's got
weapons,
play mat, but it's
I remember everything in that pack. Yeah,
Commando Ranger. Everyone's
Commando Rangers.
Backpack set Desert Bed.
Yeah, because it's we're gonna knock off everything.
They did a play mat also.
Oh yeah, it's in there. Yeah. So I got that up in Ohio, and if you're gonna collect the whole set, there's look at the full color. No, it's just some script in the back.
Mountain accent. Amphibious assault.
Someone's typed it out.
Yeah.
Battle hovercraft. Battle swamp buggy.
Yeah, the buggy.
Battle copter.
Oh, I'd love that buggy. Look at that buggy.
Yeah. Ooh. City attack. Wow. Those are cool.
Awesome.
Yeah.
It's funny.
So you said you'd like that buggy?
He's got it over here. He's like, well, look at this.
Well, I was going to say, it looks like a 3-wheeler, that. So I hope it is a 3-wheeler. Because then I would love that as a kid. I used to love bikes, buggies, and all sorts of stuff like that.
They're sealed in the box, but
what? You've even got packaged ones.
Yeah.
Oh,
great,
that's
that
that.
thing,
I've seen that for sale, and I've
This is
Oh,
actually
glanced at it.
That's
Yeah,
Si's an action figure right there. Look, that's
Yeah.
Si's action.
Sai.
That's Friday
This is
night
what-
side there. Look, Friday
Sai
night
is going to
side.
cosplay at Joe Fest in this.
yeah.
God.
It's like
Yeah, I'm
la
coming.
la.
Is that?
I was like,
Oh.
Do you remember
Like
he had
they had
he had his own theme song and everything.
the fishnet soldier. You know, it's like,
Yeah, it's cool. I like it a lot.
what's
there's
funny
a-
about those sets is I've seen those before, and you can get like 3 or 4 different figures in those sets.
Yep.
You don't always get the
Yep,
fishnet
you don't
guy.
always get the fishnet guy. You get
Mm.
Oh yeah, there he is. Yeah,
the
Oh, wow.
pink.
Oh, that's
Buggy
nice.
Special Descent.
Hang on,
Yeah.
that's Smith
You've been
Lord,
to
isn't it? Is
your-
that Smith Lord?
But these were severely mispriced to my benefit, and I'm like, oh, I'm having those.
Yeah,
But how
Yeah.
do you go
Mm.
around finding stuff like that? This is
Yeah.
This was,
you know, that's the part that gets me.
68 Toy Mall up in Xenia, Ohio.
And
I'm
what
thinking-
company is that,
And,
Scuba?
you, and if you,
So this
Those
was
if you wanted to open, sorry, Pete. I was going to say if you wanted to open them and part of a, you could actually turn them into Red Shadows, couldn't you? Easily turn them into
Yeah,
Red Shadows
yeah.
toys and
so the tape on this
Customize
one's
them.
kind
Oh,
of giving
the
up
fuck,
the
could I-
ghost.
how could I have customizing
Live
them?
unboxing.
Can't watch
Pull
this.
that up. No, it's all in the baggie.
Oh,
Yeah.
don't
See,
open that
I
baggie.
mean-
Oh my god!
Nah.
Like
It's got
torture
the
to me, that
cheese
Pete.
a whole bit.
wow.
Simon's off to get his crucifix and garlic.
It's all right. I see the tape. The vintage
Don't you
tape
dare
giving up
show
the
that.
ghost. Don't do it.
Awesome, Pete.
So this is
Yeah,
I don't
lovely.
even know if this one has a date.
Yeah.
No.
They're
And it-
still Remco though, right? Aren't those?
Remco?
I think
Ooh,
this is
that's nice. I
even
like
not Remco. This is somebody knocking Remco off.
It's
Wow,
Lemco.
Those molds were in Hong Kong, so it's like
Gotcha.
Jesse, you can
And
start a company and make some, and Sai he renames it, and
Yeah, I've seen those around before, but I've never bought one. Yeah,
yeah, it's when you start running out of the usual stuff, right? You just go, okay, that's just wacky. I gotta have it.
I want to get some of the Fun School Vamp Jeeps because Fun School took the Vamp mold and they made like a red one and a white one and a yellow one and a green, like a
Yeah, in
bright
India.
green,
Yep.
a black one. Yeah, they made Fun School they just took that Vamp mold and went to town. They made like so many different colors.
Yeah.
And
You want to see
I
one?
love those. Yeah, which one you got?
Why not, Scuba Pete? Why not?
Well, let me run over there and get it. I'll be right back.
Brilliant, brilliant. Might have
And
been
the
easy to say what he hasn't got.
packaging's cool, too. Yeah, the packaging's kind of cool on those Fun School ones too.
Just looking there, just like just make him big as it. Look at that.
Yeah.
That is
Mm.
awesome, isn't it?
Oh,
Yeah.
he's got the white and red one. Yeah, that's a good one.
Show and tell time.
Show and tell.
We are kicking around going to the Hoosier Collecticon. That is Sunday.
What's that?
That-
Who's the collector?
That's a Froggy Flips
Oh,
show.
don't!
now.
I'm so upset. I really wait to go to that.
So
Oh, I like
MRF,
Yeah,
that is a Indian tire company,
yeah.
and so that's that version. And I did.
Yeah, the
that's
white
nice.
and red are pretty cool. Yeah.
Yeah, I bought that.
Yeah,
at,
that's a cool
Joe
one.
Fest.
Yeah, I was going to say now they had loads of these at Joe Best. Has someone recently come across a case of them or something? Because he had a few of these.
No,
boxes and stuff.
they've kept on producing them. That's
Yeah, they
the
just-
that's
Wow,
the
okay.
interesting thing.
Right,
Yeah.
The production date for this one was 2000.
cheapers, right?
Yeah,
Okay,
So they
right.
and they're all pre-assembled. They're riveted
Yeah.
and stickered.
You
All
say
that.
that though, but it's still 25 years old.
Yeah.
We think
You're right,
2000 was
very
yesterday, don't
true.
we? Yeah,
that's
25
true.
years
Right,
ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I would love to get the cop one. I think that's cool.
Wow.
And it
awesome.
comes with Sergeant Slaughter as like a state trooper. It's very cool.
So Scuba, you were mentioning that Special Forces has pieces that were used with the Galoob 18 line. Because I'm sorting through all my Galoob catalogs, but look how much they try to make that playset look cool.
Oh yeah, yeah.
It's where I can't see where
There you go, right there. Yeah,
right there.
It's that small, but they're trying really hard to make you think there's a lot there.
Yeah,
comes with a rock.
With that mountain backdrop.
yeah.
Yeah, but just look at the page next to it. Oh man!
Yeah, I was going to say, man, remember that 18 thing at the top?
I remember all that except for that jet. And then Scuba Pete picks up a jet, and I was like, "What the fancy?"
And that was all.
I didn't even knew they had a jet side. I was like,
"Do you
what?
remember
the helicopter?
The helicopter figures?"
I remember them because Jesse, I was so upset because I was going to go to Joe Fest and they had them there and I didn't pick them up. I was gutted. Oh, look at that!
They were great figures.
Yeah.
But do you remember that playset, Sayoki?
No, not at all. I just like you then, Mark. I looked at that picture. Cool. They all rung a bell, but that jet didn't, and that doesn't either.
No.
What is wrong with this kid?
He's getting a close up of Hannibal's butt.
Yeah.
He's got a nice butt.
Put me in a timeout.
So what's this book, Jesse? What's this book here?
Oh, so I'm a big Galoob collector, and I have all my catalogs.
Right.
I've been getting pictures so I can like put them up on my Instagram.
Gonna buy some wrestlers.
So that Shabby, they would have handed that catalog out at like New York Toy Show.
Yeah, these are Toy Fair catalogs. So these are to show you what comes out next year, and they come with prices. They come with the commercial schedule to tell, if you're a Walmart or a Toys R Us or a KB Toys, like, hey, we're going to advertise this specific toy in March and April. So you might want to put these toys out around February, March, and April, and how much it costs to buy a box from us and everything. So some stuff never makes it to market.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just have a whole
great book to have.
Awesome. G-Force, I saw that one, but no, remember G-Force, they had the loose fan with 4 loose figures, and it was like $80. That was it. I think, was it you I was talking to you about it, John? I said, look at that. And you went, oh, Shabby, you need to get. I tell you where it was, John. It was the same place you got the 12-inch G.I. Joe alien thing from.
Yeah.
Do you remember that? And then you bought that straight away because that guy went, oh, it's $60, and you went, oh, I'm having that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
Should have done that. It was at that one, and his prices were absolutely brilliant. I just want to show you something quick here. So, hello. So I've just bought a vintage battle ram off Andy, but Andy found a beautiful battle ram and stuff. But I'm going to show that on a recent one. I want to show you these because I've not seen these since me and Si were kids, and it's Andy sent these Action Force figures.
Yeah, the Action Force. Yeah.
And you know what, Simon and Keith? Yeah, I just. I mean, look at the condition of them for one. Absolutely immaculate.
Oh yeah.
But it is funny, because. I know Scuba and some of the American lads are getting into them, and I always say the same thing. Oh, yeah, I had them as kids, which I did, but I haven't actually physically held one since I was about 10 or 11. So to have that back is really, really nice. And he sent this one too, and it's even got the helmet with it. Look,
wow,
great figure.
Super.
You know where those? You know who sent those to Andy, don't you?
No, who did? You.
Me.
I've got it.
He was like, I'm gonna pass them on to Shabby, and I'm like, that is a great idea.
Well, they're passing on ends now because I'm not giving them to anybody.
Yeah. What's funny is
great baddies.
I had that black major guy, whatever, the one in the black outfit there.
Yeah.
He was standing with my Imperial troops for like 40 years. And then
appropriate.
I'm going through like one day with like a video, and someone goes, "Hey, you've got an Action Man there," and I go, "Is that who that is?" Like
did they never make these actual characters then into G.I. Joe characters?
No,
they never. So they never morphed into, because I know a lot of them did.
No,
but they never morphed into G.I. Joe, which I find strange.
Not until like maybe like 3 or 4 years ago they started showing up in the comic books. as
Yeah,
part
kind
of
of
G.I.
He'd
Joe.
show up.
a nod, homage.
Yeah.
It's funny that PGM should said that site. I was so
It-
tempted to.
If
I was
someone's
so tempted
interested
to buy
in,
another one today just to open. I was. So...
if people are interested in 6-inch figures like the 112 scale, they are doing. They can't call them Action Force, but
Yeah.
Monster Squads is doing.
Yeah, I got them on. I mean,
homage.
Pete picked the exclusive
Yeah.
ones at Joe Fest last year. They were brilliant. They were. You got the
Yeah,
red
the
one,
Red
Steve, I got
Shadow
the
they
blue
did.
one.
Yeah,
I will say
yeah.
something
Still Common John
controversial.
with that figure.
Yeah.
I'll say something controversial as an American. I like Action Force better than G.I. Joe.
You're
So-
not. I mean, there's. It's the grass is always greener over there. You know, it's like you
'Cause
you want what you didn't have. I mean, it's
Just thinking
so
to my
good.
play style, I did not like all the articulation on my Joes.
Yeah.
I liked my 5 POA figures.
Mhm.
And with the Action Force up on my shelf, I think the Z Force AF3 is better than any other vehicle I've had. And that,
it's
that
great.
rubbery material that they're made of,
Yeah.
I was rough with my toys. That would have been, I wouldn't have had broken thumbs, broken legs. I
Uh-huh.
think I would have had more fun with the Action Force than with the G.I. Joe.
So
They
what
were
you're
built to
saying
last.
then, and this is your opinion, you think Action Force is better than G.I. Joe?
Yes.
Hot take, Jesse. Hot take that.
Come out to the Mountain West and fight me.
You see the comments tomorrow morning, all these lads. What did he say? Anybody got anything to show while we're doing it? Si, have you got anything to show?
No, I showed it all this stuff I've been recently picking up on our last one last week. So go back
Keith,
and
have you
watch
got
that one.
anything to show? Have you got anything to show, Keith? Oh, he has. Hang on.
Oh.
Oh, nice, Keith. Yeah, look at
Oh
that.
yeah, I love it.
Whoa.
Look at that.
That's all I did was extended it because it, as most of you might remember, I actually built the Knight Rider truck and it was that big. But then I found in my shed another container, a spare container. So what I did was glued the whole thing together, cut it all apart, and
So
put it together.
That is
And
bonkers.
I cut the chassis apart, the trailer's chassis apart, and fitted it on. And of course, it had to have all the electrics in it. It's got the electrics in it anyway, but the rear compartment. Unfortunately, the car still won't go in the back. Unfortunately, it won't.
Right? Yeah, that whole width.
The car's too wide. But the tops
Oh,
of the
This is brilliant.
has come off, and I'll show you the inside. And that's the inside, the interior, and it's got the
It's so cool.
your residential, and then the bit that I extended is the garage bit where the actual kit, the car,
That's cool.
goes.
Wow.
And the problem is though now, I mean, you can tell by the way that I'm handling it that it's just too fun. I'm not used to handling anything this big in my hands.
Ah.
I am.
It's Shabby after dark.
And of course, I had to put all the yeah, I had to have all the lights
Yeah,
in it.
but-
Isn't it?
oh, God.
Oh,
that's
yes.
so freaking cool. That's so cool.
It's
So that's
amazing.
And how nice is it, lads, that he's making us all one for Christmas? That's so
That's
nice of
lovely.
him.
Thanks, Keith.
You
So
never
Yeah.
have
nice
to
that
ask
we're all
him.
getting one for Christmas. That's so
Thank
nice.
Briefly though,
Yeah.
Keith, can I ask you a question? What's the hours put in that then now? Including both
hours?
trailers. Yeah, what how long did that take you to build that from scratch?
Oh Christ, mate! I honestly don't know. I would say it's probably this container, this section. Sorry, this section.
Yeah.
I glued on. What I had to do was I had to cut away that bit. I had to cut away the back of that and remove the doors, and then cut it all down so that it was level. And then attach this to it and make sure it was attached so there was no gaps. Then fill in any gaps with filler and other stuff. Then obviously it had to be sanded all down and then sprayed black. I had to respray the whole thing black. I had to remove all the decals from the original one and then create a bigger decal. So all the decals are home printed as well. So I think this one section to fix it to this section probably took me about 4 days from
Cheers,
start
Muzzy.
to finish.
Wow.
Well, that's
days,
fantastic.
See
That.
you, Muzza.
And what was your research, Keith? How did you like get it? Was it like hours and hours of footage of Knight Rider, or was the things online? Or
the thing is, to be honest, Si, it's like any toy from that era, or from anything from that era. There were so many different trucks used in the film, in the series rather. So the interiors, they changed. They changed from the first series to the Bob series to the last series. So the interiors were constantly changing. I mean, the original flag truck wasn't even marked. It was just completely grey. It was just a completely grey truck.
Now I want to go watch Knight Rider.
Yeah, Muzza's good at it. That's awesome. Do you know what? Do you know what one of my favourite pieces that you've done is, Keith? One of my favourites is, and you don't really talk about that one a lot, was the Italian job truck you did. That was one of my favourite ones that you did. The gold one. Have you got that by hand? Because I remember you doing the Italian job minis. But when you did that truck,
what is that? The Spinoza, is it? Is it Spinoza?
Yeah, wait till you see it, Si. This is brilliant.
No, unfortunately, that's in the shed. That's in the...
what the France in your underpants?
All of my stuff, all of it's in the shed at the bottom of the garden, waiting to be turned into a Playmobil city, because I finally had somebody come round and repair the hole in my shed.
Oh, good deal.
Was anything damaged? Was anything damaged?
The ruddiest. No. Fortunately, the hole that was in the roof, it was leaking quite badly, but it wasn't leaking a lot. So the water was just coming straight down rather than being sprayed out, if that makes sense. And because I've got a lino floor, it was hitting the lino and just creating a puddle. So what I did was put loads of swabs in there and towels in there to soak it up until the roof could be fixed. And I've kicked all the boxes, moved all the boxes away. Some of the boxes got waterlogged, got quite drenched. But because Playmobil basically is still meant to be a toy, and I can't emphasize this enough, I've said it so many times, Playmobil is a toy.
They
are so resilient. The bloody things were just swimming about and completely unscathed. It was like,
go on
in. Call that a storm. Go on in, bring it on. It was like one of them, you know.
I think to me, I would rather have Playmobil than Lego. I love Playmobil.
I would.
That's a hot
press that dun button again.
Yeah, what's that? I could crush a grape.
I would.
No chance.
Although I did just build that Lego Jaws set, and holy cow, man, that thing is just unbelievable. That was a great build as well. I really enjoyed it. But I love that Jaws set, and I just saw the Goonies ship they're doing that could win it for this year. Did you see it, John? They're doing the Goonies ship, and it's the ship on one side, and it's all the interior. In fact, I'll see if I can find it while you lot talk. I'll see if I can find a picture of it.
Oh, I'd love to see that.
I think I've seen it. Doesn't it have an octopus with it too?
Like the cut scene.
Yeah.
But what it does though?
Yeah, so it's like you move the boat out, and then inside the boat, it's all the different scenes from the Goonies Gauntlet run. You know, like the slide and the piano, and apparently it's supposed to be very pricey. They're saying around $750. So
wow,
big dollar.
Yeah. Oh, let's.
And I would want to build it.
Yeah, this is it right here. So this is the actual picture of it. If I can I'll try and get two pictures of it because I want to show you the other side too. But it's amazing. Yeah, I've got them. Excuse me. So this is. They're doing like icon things where the guy could, where you could win it or whatever. Let's just see if I can get hold of these pictures. Here we go. Look at this. I'm getting right talented at this now, John.
Hey, you guys.
Let's have a look. Make that big. Yeah, got it. So
yeah.
Let's just get rid of that. Get rid of that. Here we go. So this is the actual ship here. like so.
Whoa.
So that's what it looks like on one side. And obviously, I watched an interview with the engineer, and he said he was trying to incorporate as much of the film as possible without going overboard. So that's what it looks like on one side. And on the other side, it looks like that with all the scenes in it.
What?
Yeah.
Oh,
so it starts at the can you see? So on the top left, it starts in the Fratelli's bar, then it goes down into everything's there.
Yeah, into the basement and.
Yeah.
Cool is that?
It's a mid-set, isn't it? It's quality, yeah.
How cool is that? Now,
Yeah,
that's
there's the
something
little octopus. See him down there?
Yep.
I've got it, John,
Yeah.
right there. Yeah, in the red. Yeah. But that's the thing, you know. I just saw that they're doing a Death Star for $1,000, and I'm like, what the France, man?
Listen, that's not going to be much cheaper. Let me tell you now, that's not going to be much cheaper.
Yeah,
Don't expect that to be a £250 set because it's not. You can tell already with about 40 minifigures in it. It's going to be quite pricey. That's it.
Let's have a start this topic, this conversation. When is this going to end? Because I know a few of us have talked about this before. The prices of, because these are toys. Do you know what I mean? But when are these prices going to? It feels like they're just getting out of hand. Do you not think?
It's that nostalgic tax.
Is that what it is? Yeah.
It's really because people are buying them. If realistically, if everybody just stopped buying the toys, the price would go down.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't cost them, and it's really clear. It's really clear when you see companies like Funhole and these other ones like Little Brick and other companies that are coming out with a full-scale AT-AT that's exactly the same as the AT-AT Lego, but they're calling it like Spacewalker. And when you build them and put them side by side, you can't tell the difference between the two.
Well, it's the same as that Christmas Story house that me and Scuba got. It was a full-size house and it was under $80.
Yeah, they sell the AT-AT for like $20 on Light Brick, but the Lego one costs you $150. You know,
what's the difference in materials though? Do the cheaper ones feel cheaper?
The same.
They're the same, and they're made.
You know what, Si? That's a good question because me and Scuba got that Christmas Story house, right? And it's a knockoff, so automatically, because the whole thing about Lego was the fact of how quality it is. But I tell you what, I messaged Scuba because we were building it roughly at the same time. And we couldn't get over the quality.
I thought the clutch power was going to be bad.
Exactly. It's going to be loose.
Was like, nothing's
no, because what happened is when I was working at Lego, what I found out was that they have an insert that goes in when they're making the brick that stamps the Lego logo on the Lego brick. Yeah. And then at 7:00 at night, when they shut down, they pull that insert out, and they keep running the line with the same plastic, and they put those in the light brick box or the Funhole box or something like that. But they're the same exact plastic on the same line, run by the same people in the same factory. They just pull that little Lego stamp out, and so they're the plastic. There's no difference.
Apart from a couple of pieces, like I'm not a Lego fan like you are. I'll get one at Christmas. Do you know what I mean? And that's like $100 set. I don't go mad.
Yeah.
But apart from one or two exclusive bricks for that set, Lego must be the biggest profit toy company ever.
Oh, they are. They make a buttload of money.
Aren't they, really?
And that's what I'm saying. Like, that's why I welcome the competition, because I think that Lego is if they see sales of Funhole and Light Brick and these other ones, there's another one that's at Walmart and Target now too, where they have MTV guys and flowers and stuff, and they're like half the cost of Lego. So if we start seeing those selling out and people buying them at Walmart and Target instead of buying Lego, you know what I mean? Like, I think it's going to force at some point Lego to lower their prices, because I tell you, it's just pure profit. They make that stuff. Those bricks cost pennies, you know.
Yeah. Why don't you think Playmobil took off over here?
I mean, it had its massive day, but it was, you know, back in the like 79 or 78, 79 with like the firefighters and cowboys and Indians. Like I had tons of Playmobil.
Yeah, I did too. But I think modern days they don't trust their brand enough. They don't put it in enough stores and have enough of the sets. Because what happened is there was a while where Walmart was selling, but you would get one Scooby-Doo set, and I wanted like the Haunted Castle and the Mystery Machine and the thing, and all you could find is the Mystery Machine at Walmart. You couldn't get any of the other sets.
Yeah.
So they don't trust the brand enough to put it out for people to buy. So I had to go on their website and order the Haunted Mansion and the other stuff.
It's weird because you go into size Smiths, and what's your Smiths like for Playmobil side? Rows and rows of stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, it's
But we're European, aren't we? You know, it's
If they put all that out at Walmart, I think they would have sold it.
I do. That's what I mean.
I agree.
You know,
to answer Ricardo's question there, he said how many minifigures that Death Star. Apparently, the talk is it's coming with 55 minifigures.
So how big have you saying this Death Star's going to be compared to the other ones?
There's been no images yet or anything, but let's be fair. If they brought out a new Death Star and they're saying that this one is $1,000, it's going to have to be one hell of a Death Star. And it's the Return of the Jedi Death Star they're making, so I think that's how you're going to get the playability bits missing, if you'll have me.
That should be around 10,000. If it's $1,000, it should be around 10,000 pieces.
I've got to admit, though. I mean, I want you to answer it honestly. Would you spend $1,000 on a Lego set?
Yeah.
No, I wouldn't, Jesse. I don't think I could.
Yes,
I mean, I blow it in smaller increments. You know, if you tally all those up.
Yeah,
sure.
Yeah.
You know, you go, I don't spend that. And it was like, yeah, you do.
I know the community would come down on me for saying this, but quite frankly, the only reason I would buy it is to hold on to it and see how much it raises in value over years. And then, like 15
it's going to raise.
From now, 15 years from
now,
the
price range of that last Death Star, John.
Right?
I mean, that last Death Star now is £1,000 to buy.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? You're looking at 900, 950, 1,000.
Yeah,
I think it was 475 when it come out. Yeah,
but this is the part I don't understand, right? I'm always baffled when it comes to Lego. So, hypothetically, you'll get a Lego X-wing, right? Say, for example, one of their 90s Lego X-wings, and people don't open it, and then that thing's worth an absolute fortune. But then they'll make a brand new one, which looks twice as good as that one for less money. So I don't understand, to be honest, and it's a genuine question. This why Lego goes up in price when it retires, because they make better ones than that set. So I don't understand why.
Sometimes it might not, Mark, and sometimes it can take up to 10, 15 years for them to do a new set. I mean, this Pirates of the Caribbean, the Black Pearl that's coming. When was the last one, John? Was it 2008, 2000? It was years back.
Yeah, but the thing is, with the early Lego stuff, if it's still in the box, you're not buying it to build it. You're buying it to have the first run. Like someone bought the first two catalogs for me. They bought the 2008 and the 2009 catalogs because those were the first 2 years that Star Wars was in Lego.
Right.
Star Wars Lego hit in 2008. So they just wanted the catalogs from me because from working at Lego.
Sure.
They went for like $50 each because they wanted the first like Lego employee catalog, like because it had all the numbers in it. It talked about where they were being placed in the store, how to order them, like showed all the pieces and parts and like full color
Jesse's
photos.
Like, what other catalogs do you have, John?
Yeah, very much like those.
I was going to say, like, who's spending money on catalogs?
Yeah, very much like those catalogs that he has. Yeah.
So there's the Italian job. Please tell me you got the truck. Please tell me you got the truck. Wait to see this thing.
He went outside and
these are the drivers.
Yeah,
these are the drivers. If you remember the original 1969 Italian job, all the minis had their own drivers in their own uniforms, and these are all custom Playmobil figures, all painted, hand painted to make them look like the. And then of course you got the bandits. Oh, the bandits, are they the bad guys or are they the good guys? We don't really know, do we? The jury's out on that. We've got two nondescript members of the Croker gang.
cool.
in their helmets. And you've got Camp Freddy. You remember Camp Freddy? Because he was always the one that was wearing the pink cravat. He was the very camp guy.
Would never put his gloves
Freddy.
on, would he? Always doing his nails.
That's right. Absolutely, yeah. And then you've got Charlie Croker with his visor up. You're only supposed to blow the bloody doors off. You've got the. I know Shabby only wants to see. The.
No, but these are great.
No, these are cool.
Minis that I then stripped down.
You got the colours perfect as well. Was it hard to find those colours?
Minis, but I stripped them completely. The white was. I actually researched. This is look. I've got OCD, right? Okay,
Yeah.
and I'm on the autism spectrum, so I actually researched the exact colours.
Yeah,
that's how anal I am.
Nice.
The white was an old English white. So it didn't look too bright for the camera. And the blue, I can't remember the name of the fucking blue. I think it was an Arctic blue or something like that, but it was discontinued. But you can get a colour that's exactly the same as, which is still produced, and that's what it is. It cost me a bloody fortune for a can of spray paint just to get that right colour. And then the red one is just a signal red. Again, that paint colour was discontinued, but it's still used now by the post office.
Even that colour looks like it's from the
signal
60s,
red
doesn't it?
paint.
Yes.
It looks like it's from the 60s and colours. Brilliant.
Yeah.
Absolutely
It's got
brilliant.
put all the number plates on it. All the original number plates on it from the film. And put the spotlights on it. Put the spotlights on it and the straps across the bonnet and stuff like that. They were a pain in the arse to spray because transparencies, the glass wouldn't come out.
Oh,
The glass
no.
doesn't come out. So I had to mask everything inside out. Yeah.
Wow.
And then pad the inside completely so that spray residue doesn't get into the vehicle. Took all the wheels off, took all the lights off, took all the bumpers off, took everything off. And pain in the arse, but it was worth it. I think it was worth it. But
definitely.
They all come
Looking
later.
at them, it was.
They all came later.
I agree, G-Force.
What started first was my sister-in-law from up in the Highlands in Scotland, where she lives. She found a Playmobil police van and she sent it to me. Just, she found it at a charity shop. And I've got my police for my city, Playmobil city that I'm building. I've got my police. I've got it all sorted. I don't need another police van. So I'm thinking, what can I do with this? And she said to me, if you wanted to do the Italian job, then maybe try and use this as the security van. So I thought, that's an idea. So I researched it, and even though it's not the same type of make and model, I came up with this.
Look at that. That is so good. So good.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it really is.
That's as near as damn it. It's not.
It's close enough.
It's not the right make of vehicle or anything like that. But in the film, it's got obviously the reinforced windows. So I actually got those from a Playmobil Riot carrier. I had a spare one from Playmobil Riot vans to reinforce the windows. All this shit up here, the air vents and stuff, they're just bottle tops. From various plastic bottle cans and drinks. Your red speaker cone. And of course, I don't know why a security van has got a red light on it. I really have no idea why a security van has got, a blue light on it, a blue flashing light. No idea why. But because it was a blue light, it had to be flashing, didn't it? It had to be. It had to be a flashing blue light. So that scene where they're driving through the town centre. They're driving through the town centre when the blue light's flashing.
So cool. So cool. Ridiculous how good that is.
And it came out so well. It came out so well that I said, oh fuck it, I've got to do the minis now. I've got to go do the minis now. Of course, the thing is, I then spent forever searching for Playmobil gold bars. So the whole thing will actually be filled with Playmobil gold.
Nice.
Yeah, it is though, and it's Scott. It's awesome. Yeah, you're right. Can you look? Yeah,
it is.
Somebody said to me. I think it was actually on the Tub Thumpers, Shabby, when that I did with you guys. I think somebody in the chat actually said, "What about the coach? What about the coach?" And Playmobil do a coach. Obviously, they do a long coach,
right.
But the coach in the Italian job had that double wheel axle at the front,
right.
And it would be an absolute pain in the arse to try and replicate that. But of course, the gremlins in my head are going, "You must do it, Keith. You must do it, Keith. You must do it, Keith. You must do it, Keith."
Yeah, it'd be a challenge, though, eh?
And so
Let me just make.
This is the Playmobil you will customize.
Hey, Jeffers.
Hey,
Jeff. I want to make John Bigham in it because I saw something that John did a new cabinet today, and I don't know if you can show me or not. But this cabinet looks. Wait to see this cabinet, boys. Me and Si were blown away, man.
Oh, let's have a go on Pac-Man.
Yeah. I see the Pac-Man cabinet.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna take the
game.
This is cool. Wait to see this, Scuba and Jesse. This is cool, man.
So first thing I did is I've been changing around the television. So I've got the television, and I've added this left side here.
Yeah.
So that
nice.
In the spotlight cabinet, I've got air raiders on top.
Yeah.
Did you say you didn't really? Was it you that said you don't remember air raiders? Who was it that said that? Was it Connor?
I don't remember him.
I don't really remember him.
And then I've got sectars. And then my robot shelves start here with GoBots and Metal Men.
So good.
Yeah.
So cool. So cool.
That's a mint shell. Yeah.
My first Verbot, which
some stuff in there.
I was trying to get Verbot all my life to just go to the fridge and get me a drink and come back, but he never does.
Hey, are they the Playmobil droids in the front? They are, aren't they?
Yeah.
Bottom right corner. Yeah, they are. There they are.
Yep. Yeah, those are Playmobil droids.
We had
They're
Robbie
a bit on
Jr.
the nose, aren't they?
from Radio
Them
Shack.
droids.
Yeah, they are, Si. What did you say, Scoobs?
We had
Looks a bit familiar.
a robot, and it was from Radio Shack, and it was Robbie Jr. So he's like, you'd hit his thing, and he'd be like, "Hello, I'm Robbie Jr." And you're like, "Drive over there."
That's my childhood Optimus
That
Prime.
Shockwave in the corner. Go back to that Shockwave.
Wow.
That's my childhood Optimus Prime. I've had that Prime since I was a kid. I bought the Optimus Prime after I sold a sheep.
You sold a sheep?
Oh, look at that.
Yeah, we grew up on a farm, and I raised a sheep from a baby with bottle fed. I bottle fed it. And when it got old enough to be slaughtered for meat, I took it down to the butchers and sold it, and then bought Optimus Prime.
Story.
So the money wasn't bad.
No, it wasn't bad at all. Yeah.
He had it butchered, and he bought Optimus Prime.
Oh, brilliant. Absolutely brilliant.
I just love the way that story started off when he fed it, bottled it and everything. It was his little baby, but as soon as he saw that Optimus Prime, that shit was gone.
He was gone.
Yeah.
Oh,
nice.
Metroplex, Ultra Magnus.
Jetfire.
Wow. Yeah, Jetfire Si, yeah.
I saw a box of Jetfire today.
Oh, God, I remember some of them Marcus kids, do you?
Yeah. How much was that box Jetfire? How expensive?
500.
Actually,
I put in my
the deer, aren't they?
my TIE fighters all going up here.
That's great, dude.
They fit
Love
perfect.
those TIE fighters, mate.
Yeah.
Love those TIE fighters.
I like that touch with your little left coast box there as well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That's really good.
Right?
With the vintage ones, they put the little left coast boxes. Yeah.
I did that with my Jawa Sandcrawler. I have it sitting Rick's box inside it.
Awesome.
And then I just did this only just like a little bit ago. I put this up and
all the mini
put
rigs.
all the mini rigs in there with some figures.
Cool.
And then the box stuff up above.
Slick. Yeah, you've been busy, man.
And then along the bottom here, I got the rest of the TIE fighters going underneath.
There you go, Si. There's your helmet.
Yeah, and then I've got the Biker Scout helmet, and then the Stormtrooper just came in today.
Sweet.
And there's a Darth Vader with the Darth Vader has the chest piece too. And then there's a Bosk helmet, Bosk way in the end. And then there's a hole right there because at the end of the month, my Hoth Stormtrooper helmet will show up at the end of February. And that's going to go in that hole down there.
Cool.
And then I did this with the Rebel side, I guess you could say.
Oh, what?
Wow.
I just did that today too. And then I've got the Playmobil or the
man, that drop ship, that
Adventure People up top.
Do you remember that Adventure People up top, Scuba? Right there, that's the one we were talking about before. At the very top.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
The Adventure People. But yeah, I got a little Geonosian battle going on here, and they're landing. Mace Windu's ready to jump out with his troops, and we got Anakin and Obi-Wan chopping them in half with some troops. And if you look way back, you can see all the Jedi.
Wow.
Yeah.
That looks good.
Including the Hammerhead Jedi in there.
That's
Asherod Hett, the Tusken Raider Jedi's in there. Everybody, yeah.
Amazing.
Funny how most Star Wars collectors they do them in genre of films, don't they? Like you do the same, don't you, Shabs? You put them in like genre of what movie they were in. So all your New Hope together, all your Empire together.
I think the majority of it. Do you do that in yours as well, Scoobs?
Yeah, I think I try to, for the most part, keep them, like the original trilogies, like that all goes here, that goes there.
Yeah,
compartmentalize.
Ricardo, you haven't seen anything yet, Ricardo. we honestly, we could do 3 hours a night for about a month, and John still wouldn't have finished.
That X-wing.
And then I did the Sandcrawler with some droids down here.
Yeah, the one from Galaxy's Edge. Cool.
Yep. Yeah. And I got 2 other droids on the way for this. I've got a Treadwell, the other Treadwell droid, and I've got the little black LAN droid coming. So
I've got a question for you, Johnny boy. RG Force asks, question for Sags. Be honest, do you dust and how often?
Not much. I don't
every
really have
day.
to. It doesn't get that dusty here, quite frankly.
No, I don't think it will with this humidity and stuff, will it?
A leaf blower just clears it right off. Just
that looks super cool.
Yeah, that is bonkers.
So it's every Star Wars figure with every variant. So you'll notice some of them there's 4 or 5 of the same figure because there's that many variants of the figure. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's all, there's 200 or so figures in here because of all the different variants.
That's grown though since the last time you showed it us.
Wow. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
I'm on.
That's cool.
I'm on.
And what's your favourite one, John? If you had to pick one, which one's your favourite in that whole cabinet?
Oh,
I've always really liked Gamorrean guards and some of the Jabba goons, the aliens like the Cantina aliens like Walrus Man and Hammerhead. Like Walrus Man and Hammerhead in a special place because I love those. I love like Gamorrean Guard and the Weequay.
Hey John, can we see the Farm Boy Luke variants?
Yeah, I've got all of them up there. See them?
Yeah.
Brown hair, blonde hair, double telescoping lightsaber, regular lightsaber. Yeah. Same with Vader, double telescoping, shiny head, soft head.
And how many variants are there of the Hoth Stormtrooper?
There's like 4.
4.
4 variants of the Hoth and 4 of the Biker Scout. Yeah.
Jeepers.
Wow.
Man.
I didn't know
if you really get picky, there's even more. Because like there's some that are Hong Kong, Taiwan, then there's the Luletti, then there's the thing is scratched off, then there's like PGA, and then there's like what is it, Kellerman or something like that, or Keller, I don't remember what they are, but there's like because if you can get them from different factories all around the world. It's some people go that far, and there's some that were made in like 20 different factories, so you technically could have 20 different variants of some of the figures.
That's crazy.
So cool.
It looks so good all together like that.
Sure does, Scoobs.
Yeah.
But I got the droids and Ewoks up there.
Nice.
Including the Spanish Ewok on the end. And then because the cabinet wasn't full. The cabinet wasn't full, so I put the Flash Gordon and the
Flash Gordon,
yeah.
Yeah, I love them Secret Wars.
So cool, John.
And then behind this little pile of mess here, the rest of the Star Wars is going in this cabinet. I need to get one more glass shelf, and then I can light it and finish that stuff.
Nice. I can't believe you have a mess. None of us have any messes in our toy room.
Yeah, right.
No.
Hey, Pete, show your floor. Be like, nope.
These are the hot toys and stuff.
Careful, Matt will be
like Batman.
Yeah, the Batman's awesome. The Wolverine's cool.
Yeah, Wolverine as well. Yeah.
Oh, I love
that Phoenix next to Wolverine.
The sabers and the blasters up on the wall.
Yeah. So that blaster is actually a German Mauser from World War II. And then we filed off the sight on the barrel, and I took it to my friend's machine shop this was back in like 1990 or something, like 1990, 91. I bought it at a gun show, a replica. I bought it at a gun show, got a real German Mauser. We drilled out the firing pin so you couldn't do it, and then he plugged the barrel with a metal thing he put in it, and then we sanded off the sight that was on the tip of the barrel, and he made all those parts in the machine shop, and we basically built our own Han Solo gun.
Cool.
Out of a German Mauser.
Yeah, that's something you don't have in England. Gun shows.
So when you can actually still, so the cool thing is you can actually still cock it and fire the gun, like pull the trigger and it'll go choom. You know what I mean?
We do have gun shows in London. It's called Saturday night party night in central London.
Partridge.
I don't think it's official. You certainly haven't got to buy a ticket to go.
Jeff Parker asked, so John, is your loose Star Wars figure collection done? Is it complete?
I need a hollow tubes sand person, and I need a vinyl cape Jawa, and then I will have every single thing. Yes.
Wow.
So I need 2 figures, but I don't think I'll ever get a vinyl cape Jawa. I won't spend the money on one. So he would have to come if I just stumbled upon it at a garage sale and no one knew what they had, But hollow tubes, I might someday actually buy, because you can sometimes find them for $200 or $300. So there's a chance I'll get that someday, but.
I pick up every Tuscan I see, hoping.
Yeah,
You know,
That's
in
the other thing is
grass
you might
pit.
just find one. Yeah,
Yeah.
you might just happen to find one that people don't realize they have.
Well, yeah, you've got to be diehard nerds like us, lots. You know, I mean, I found
Right.
that out of Andy about the hollow thing, and I was like, "What's he?" And the R5 with the red bands.
Yeah,
on
the
it.
red bar. Yep.
The
Yeah.
red bars.
Always. God, I love a good bit.
Oh, look at all this stuff.
Nice.
Yeah, we'll have to look for one.
Mint.
Terminator.
Bruticus is my favorite combiner. I love Bruticus, so I got him 4 different versions.
So good.
Nice. Like it.
I love Chuck Norris. That was awesome.
Oh, yeah.
Stuff.
I don't think we had that
The
side.
Karate Commandos.
No.
There it is. That's
Oh,
what I was-
still.
Oh,
John's
yeah.
got it.
Yeah.
Starcom.
Star-
Power of
Was it
magnet.
GeForce collecting? Who's been collecting the Starcom up? Was it GeForce or VTR? I know someone is.
Starcom.
Didn't Luke just put up a Starcom?
Luke. It was Luke.
It might
Yeah.
be Luke. Yeah, it might be Luke.
Oh, yes. Nice.
Battlestar.
Battlestar.
Yeah.
What
I
was
need
that
the. I
dog
need.
thing called?
I need what's his butt backs, but Baltar.
Yeah.
I think that's the only one I need is Baltar.
What's that dog called?
Oh, I need the
Sprocket.
gold- I need the gold Cylon. Yeah. So Baltar and the gold Cylon.
What was that dog thing
No,
called in
mate.
Battlestar
Muffy.
Galactica? What was it
Muffy.
called?
Muffy.
Oh, Sprocket was from
Daggett.
Fraggle Rock.
Sprockets. Yeah, Fraggle Rock.
Yeah. Exo Squad.
That's cool as
Brilliant.
well.
Oh, Exo Squad is brilliant.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Robotech.
Yeah.
Tim Power.
Weebles. Haha.
Wow.
Shabby Geek at the back there, look.
There's the cube from Hellraiser.
Yeah.
There's a
Never seen
coin.
it.
There's a coin in there from. There's a film used coin from John Wick. The John Wick coin back there is film. It was actually used in the film. I've got the Mandalorian coin that was given to executive producers. One of my friends in Seattle knows these people, and they're really big. And he said, "Hey, I got one of the executive producers who wants to sell his coin." And it was you can only get it from being an executive producer on the show and having them give it to you. So I ended up buying it off them, and that's what's in there.
John, what's the scary guy in the back that looks like Shabby?
The critter.
Yeah.
Critter.
Yeah, critters.
Critters. I couldn't think of that.
Jeff Barker said,
Oh, get me trying.
He's
I
a
want a
fighter.
I want a complete Battlestar collection. I have the full one. I didn't even know they did Battlestar Galactica comics. I had no idea.
Yeah, I've got those comics. They're cool.
Oh,
Ooh, mask. Mask.
Yeah.
Centurions.
Ah, Centurions.
Oh, yeah, that looks really good.
$6 million man.
$6 million man. All right, Kieran. Pokemon.
Some Pokemon.
So those are. I've got the very first. The one in the back is the very first Japanese Pikachu. First issue Pikachu from the very first. That's the very first Pikachu card ever made in Japan. And then the one in the front is the very first American release of Pikachu ever made. So those took me a long time to track down the very first issue cards of Pikachu.
Yeah.
You know,
And then
there
I was
is all this
thinking
stuff. I've just said that about the comics. Do you lads fancy doing a comic one night, a comic book, a graphic novel one? Because I'd love
Yeah,
to learn all.
well up for that.
You up for that site? I wonder if Jeffers will probably do it.
Yeah.
Scoobs, Jesse, Keith, you all up for it?
Yeah.
John. a comic
Oh,
book.
that's the Robin Hood line.
Whoa.
Yeah, I love Robin Hood, man. That stuff's cool.
Wasn't there
Battle Rap.
something that was the Ewok ship or something? I mean,
Yeah.
the Ewok
Yep.
carriage, wasn't it?
Battle
Yeah,
Rap.
Kenner.
What's
Yeah.
that?
If you slap the skull on the top right here, and the
Mhm.
pegs are still there for the skull, these pegs line up for the skull.
Yep.
You would have the Ewok battle wagon.
Yeah. Kenner's
great.
like, wait a minute.
Nice, Jeffers.
We already own that mold. We'll reuse it.
Yeah. But yeah, that's.
I love the Mac fan.
And then if you go along these walls, like these are all the people I've met,
Oh wow.
and they go over here.
Wait a minute. Some of those are cartoons, John. Let's be honest.
Okay, yeah. So I've met the voice actor.
You never met Bugs Bunny.
Yeah. And they go down the
Hang
hall.
on a minute, where's my picture? My picture was in the middle of all that. Where's it gone?
You can see it's like one that says "Wanted, Dead or Alive" above it.
Yeah.
That is cool.
Yeah.
And of course, there's comic books
something-
everywhere because I can't fit them all
What's
out.
with the Wonder Woman, John? What's the signature on the Wonder Woman there? That's not Bruce Timm, is it?
I've got both the Wonder Woman from the original Justice League. There is on the right, and then the one on the left that's next to Batman Beyond is the one from the Justice League Unlimited stuff.
Yeah.
Susan Eisenberg.
I love that Batman Beyond image there. It's one of my favorite ever images, that one.
That surprises me, that side, because I thought that'd be your least favorite from Batman. You know, with you being a Bond fan and whatever. That surprises me. That side.
The cartoon was just so good. It was just such a good show.
Right. Okay.
Scuba, you joked about him having like cartoon characters, but I see the animated Batman. When I think Kevin Conroy, he is my Batman.
Right?
Yeah,
When
you meet Kevin Conroy, you can say
That's Kevin Conroy right there.
Yeah. I agree there, Jesse.
So good.
He played Batman for what, 25, 26 years?
Yeah.
Superb.
We'd watch the hell out of that in college.
And you know what? It's funny because when you played the Arkham games and the Arkham games came out, it's only when Batman started talking you think, yeah, this is a Batman game. As soon as you heard Conroy talking, you were like, this is brilliant. So I get that, yeah.
Ricardo asked John, is there a Lucifer action figure for the Battlestar Galactica figures?
Yep.
Yeah, he was in there. Yep, I have Lucifer.
Yeah, he's kind of a maroon robe. And he's got the little blue dome on top. He's one of the more spendy.
Do you know we've done over 2 hours already? How fast is this? I've loved doing this. I'm definitely doing more night ones. These are awesome. These are brilliant. Do you know what I mean? We've had over 25 in the chat all night. I mean, it's gone to 20 now, but wow, that's been brilliant. Jeff Barker asks, how much are those cards worth, John?
I'm not actually sure, but I've been told thousands, but I'm not actually sure. You know what I mean?
$1 million.
Yeah.
Throw me a freaking phone here.
Shabby, you can show your decks. What's Fanta's gonna do? No, but I'd like to do a comic one with you boys because I'm not a comic book guy at all, and I hear you lot talk about the artwork and the stories and then the prices of them. So I'd love to spend 2 hours listening to you.
I have a recommendation for you if you're familiar with my friend Gojitron.
We know.
For comics, he would be like perfect for it.
Let's get him on.
Do you want to see some stuff? So I've been going through my collection because I started collecting comic books when I was 4 years old. My mom took me to a shop in Rochester, New York, that was right down the road from the Great House of Guitars, and we used to live right down the road from them, around the block. So we would walk from the house around the corner, down the block, and go to the Great House of Guitars. I would meet bands and people in there, talk to them, look at instruments, be all like, oh, this is cool. And then we would go down to the comic shop and buy comics. And some of my first comics were like Spider-Man and Avengers, Godzilla, the Star Wars comic. You know, we were buying them every week. And she started getting me, after about a year, she was like, you know, you can also spend some of your money on back issues. Because when I bought Avengers, I might have started at like issue 90 or 100 or something like that. I don't remember exactly where it was. So, but what I did was I went to the back issues, and let's say I started at 100 and I had maybe like 130. I had from 100 to 115 by this time or something. So I was like, well, I need 99. So I'd buy 99. And then next week when we went in, I'd buy 98. And then next week I bought 97. And I just went backwards down the line. And if I ran into one that was too expensive, I skipped it and went on, you know. And so consequently, then I got into like Fantastic Four and X-Men. And, you know, I got into, I started collecting Iron Man, Thor. So now that I'm 52 years old, I have every single Avengers except for like 3 comics. From the moment they started to what came out last week, I have every single Avengers comic. I have every single appearance of Thor that he was ever in a comic. I have every single Iron Man from his first Thor from first appearance till last week, Iron Man from first appearance till last week, the Hulk, X-Men, Wolverine, like all these comics. I was mostly a Marvel guy. So I've now got over almost 100,000 comic books. There's over 600 boxes in the between here and the house. And I started buying these hard shell cases, so I've been sleeving them myself. And this stack of comics that I'm going to show you, this is him. When him went in a cocoon, he came out as Adam Warlock. So this is kind of like the second appearance of him, but the first appearance of Adam Warlock. Okay. Wow. And then I've got like, here's the Silver Surfer.
Jesus.
All right.
Yeah, great cover that in it.
Yeah, that is
the first appearance of Hercules in a Marvel comic book.
Wow.
Yeah.
And then I've got the first appearance of Hela, and it's signed by Stan Lee.
What?
And this is the actual first appearance of him in a Thor comic. That's him right there. And a lot of these comics I'm pulling up are $5,000 to $10,000 comic books. That's why they're in these cases. So this whole stack, my dad told me, and I went through it all, and this whole stack is worth around $100,000 that I'm going to be showing you here. That in total, the whole.
Are those going in the vault?
Yeah, these are going to go in the bank vault. That's why.
That's a good idea.
That's why they're out. This is the first. This is one of the first. It might be the first. It's with the Inhumans. This might be the first. Who's the main guy there? Thunderbolt or Bolt dude?
Jeff
the guy. Yeah, the guy that screams.
The Blue Bolt in it for
Black Bolt or whatever.
Black
the guy
Bolt,
who screams.
The Black Bolt,
the guy who screams. And
looks like he's got tuning forks on his head.
Yeah. And then this is one of the first battles of Silver Surfer and the Thing.
Wow.
Yeah, Black Bolt. That's it.
Now, don't worry. I'll be putting John's address up in the end credits. So,
Dr. Doom.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, look at that cover. That Doom cover is beautiful.
Yeah. God, that's fantastic.
This is the first Ronin the Accuser. Remember Ronin from the Guardians of the Galaxy movies? This is his first appearance. I am Ronin, and I accuse you. And then,
can I ask you a question while you're showing these? Was it important for you to get all the numbers, John?
Yeah.
Was it like an OCD kind of thing that you had to? Because I was the same with Black Series and collect all. I always, it was a thing for me as a kid to collect all this. I had to complete everything,
Yeah, I had to get as much as I could. Yeah. And like Fantastic Four, I don't go all the way down to number 1. I think I went down to like 27 or something, because the earlier issues from that were they've always been beyond my capability. And like Spider-Man, I've got down into like the 70s or something, and maybe a few here and there that are lower numbers, but like from about 70 on, I've got like every Spider-Man, you know what I mean? So,
yeah,
because some of them, even when I was a kid, I couldn't afford them, and they've only kept going up to the point where I still can't afford them. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, it's all relative.
Yeah. So,
Jesse, were you a comic book collector as a kid? Were you, Keith? Jesse and Keith, were you?
I did not have comics as a kid. It's funny. I had 3 comics as a kid. And I was a little kid, and my parents did not know what they were buying me. So I had a comic from Colonial Marines. Don't give that to a kid under 10. There was one with like Wolverine and Venom. Like they gave me 3 comics as a little kid. I'm just like, this is, and it's the 90s. Everything's extreme. It's just war and violence. I'm just like, I don't like comics. I'm gonna go do this thing. So I was
the same as you. I mean, I read Roy of the Rovers and Commando and Dan Dare, but I was more of an annual Beano and that at Christmas, the annuals that came out and so forth. But Si was always the comic guy. Si loved all the comics. Keith, were you the same as a kid? Were you into comics as a kid?
I used to get the Beano and the Dandy every
you were the
week
same as me.
religiously.
Right.
Yeah.
Do
But no, I
you
used to
want to
get
see a
the. I used
couple
to get
more?
occasionally. I used to get.
Yeah, get them out, John.
I'll grab them
As
from the
a-
other room. Yeah.
As a kid, for me, it was all about zoo books.
Nice.
Never mind, though, eh? Fucking hell.
I know I get some dandy Beano if we go to Mexican.
So what about you then? When you were a kid, Pete, were you one to go to, like our side was, to go to the store and grab a comic book and all that sort of stuff?
No, it was just the odd issue of G.I. Joe. That was my comic books, and it was always because we were going on a road trip.
It's funny now. I think as me and Saib got older and I listened to Sai's stories, how his artwork now, it makes more sense to me now.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And because all I think about was our side. I've never saw our side without a graphic novel or a comic book or without a pencil. Now we're older. It kind of makes sense. I'm like,
I think if we had like the corner newsstand like you guys had, where you could walk to it, to get like your penny candy, whatnot. I think I would have been, right there with you.
Yeah, I understand, Pete. If you have the off license around the corner, what's that? Wow, that's pretty cool.
I had that as a kid. It's an annual. It's a Marvel 1979.
Annuals are awesome. Yeah.
I've got Spider-Man.
Oh yeah.
Cheers, Kieran.
Yeah.
I've got that one.
So get this. This is gonna blow your mind. The very first appearance of Thanos.
Pete, I got these when I was still a kid.
Right.
Yeah. This is the first appearance of Thanos and Drax the Destroyer, and it's signed by Jim Starlin, the guy who made it all up.
Yeah, Chief.
Lovely.
How much, John? How much more does that add to the value?
Signatures can sometimes double the value of comics if they're that important. Because like he created Thanos, so you're getting a signature of the guy who actually created the character on the book. So it can sometimes double the value. Yeah.
Wow.
John, look at this comment. John can sell one or two of these comics to buy more extra pants.
Cover. I don't get that, Joe. Did you fall in the pool or something?
No, he ripped his pants.
He ripped his pants.
He ripped his pants.
I bent over to pick something up and ripped my pants right down the butt seam.
Oh, John. Happens to the best of us.
It was brilliant.
We're all bringing spare pants.
Yeah, now that is one I do have.
The first appearance of Venom. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
And who's that side? Todd McFarlane that did that cover, was it, Simon?
Yeah.
Look at you, Shabs.
Of the Incredible, or the first appearance of Wolverine, and it's signed by Len Wein, right on the leg there. And Len Wein was the guy who created Wolverine.
Wow.
Yeah.
The artwork.
What was it? Was it Steve Ditko who did that cover?
I don't think so. I don't know, actually. I don't know if it was Ditko or not.
Jeff, can you answer that?
Yeah,
question?
Jeff, do you know? Avengers number 11, the first time Spider-Man was in the Avengers.
Holy crap.
I love this one. This is one of this took me a long time to find. I was very much trying to track this down for years, and I was so happy when I finally got it. And then here, you're going to love this one.
Rick says, is that Zapsik, maybe? Says Rick.
Yeah, that's a great cover. Love that cover.
Yeah.
Zapsik, it could be.
Whoa.
Yeah.
There you go. Hulk 182 could be your $10,000 book.
Yeah, I've got
Jeez, John.
180, and I got 180 also, and 183 because the story went on for 3 or 4 issues. And what's funny about this one, so this one has Wolverine on the last page. So some people argue that this is the first appearance. But the thing is what's interesting is what this looks like a stone, a rock here in the United States. When you go to the UK, if you guys find this comic, that will be a tree.
Huh?
It will not be a rock, it'll be a tree. So for some reason in the UK, you weren't allowed to hit somebody with a rock, so they had to redraw it and turn it into a tree.
Nobody told Si.
Softer. It's log. It's log. It's big. It's heavy. It's wood.
Actually, I've thrown my log around many a time when I was in here.
Now, this is a really cool one.
Wow.
Yeah.
The Watcher. I think it's the first. This might be the first appearance of the Watcher, or first or second of the Watcher.
Now, if a movie comes out and it's brilliant, does that make these comics go up even more?
Oh yeah, they'll keep going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like when Thanos showed
It
up
was a
in the
trim
MCU.
cover.
This is the first Inhumans. So that other one might have been the first Black Bolt. Yeah, this is the first. But mine's, look at the roughness on the edge. You know what I mean? Like it's
Oh, I don't.
it's pretty rough.
Character, I think that.
Still, just
Yeah. It's still cool to have. And then of course the first Star Wars. You gotta have that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Beautiful.
Wow.
And that surprisingly has been shooting up in value. It's insane. And then the first Transformers is going crazy too. For some reason, these are going way up. And then I've got Spider-Man, the first clone. So this is the first time the clones appeared in Spider-Man. Ben Reilly in this thing.
Oh, wow.
That's got to be a Ramita cover, that one.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then this might be one of the 55. Is that? It could be one of the first Ultrons. It's somewhere around here. Ultron shows up.
Shabby, the last half an hour of this show has been like Babe Station to Jeff Barker.
Right.
The origin of the Black Panther. It's not Black Panther's first appearance, but it's the first time we learn who he is and the origin of him. So
this is a big important, take away price and all, this is an important thing to you, isn't it? These comics. This is a super awesome necessity.
This is the first Rhodes. Rhodes became War Machine, and he's the guy that you see in all the movies. He's in the movies, so this is his first appearance.
Wow.
Okay.
Wow. Incredible.
And then Monica Rambeau's first appearance. The first appearance of Morbius, the vampire guy.
Morbius.
He looks like Deathstroke. Same sort
a little bit, yeah, with that cut.
And there's a 6-arm Spider-Man on that one. Look at that, yeah. Oh wait, now that other one was the first time Black Panther fought him. This is the origin of Black Panther. Here we go.
Unbelievable. Q speaks. Look at Ricardo, like you don't know what to say. He's like, what?
This is Iron Man number 2. We're saving keeping some of these just in nice things, you know.
We'll definitely do it. I think we should do a. What do you think, lads? Do you think we should do a comic night? I'd love to learn all this.
Definitely.
Oh, yeah. Right. Well, if we're on for it, we'll set it up. We'll get one set up, definitely. Because I'd love to see all the covers and what's important and the artwork.
So there's a lot of these here that I have that are the Demon in the Bottle story, and they're all autographed by the guys Bob Layton and them that did these. The Demon in the Bottle story was when Iron Man got basically drunk. He was hooked on alcohol, you know. So we got that whole storyline signed by Bob Layton and those guys.
Incredible. Absolutely incredible.
And then we got the first appearance of Dr. Aphra signed by the entire team. Everybody signed it.
No, I've got that one, but I haven't got it signed. And
they drew a little Dr. Aphra on the cover.
With the smiley face.
Yeah.
You know, Pete, I'm surprised they never made a movie of Dr. Aphra because she's like the prime thing for the message.
Right?
Yeah,
really? I know.
This is the first Kanan Jarrus. The first time
got that one.
Appeared,
yeah.
And then the first time Ahsoka was in a comic.
Look at that. The Clone Wars, yeah.
And then the first time Darth Revan was in a comic.
Whoa.
Because Revan is one of the biggest, next to Darth Vader and Maul, like the biggest one. Yeah, and then some classic Star Wars ones. You know, I've got. We got some classic G.I. Joes. Some of it's signed by Larry Hama. Yeah.
He's at Joe Fest this year. Yeah.
Yep, he's going to be back at Joe Fest.
And
bring your comics, and he signs them and personalizes them for free.
I know. I
got the 21 there, and then 21 signed by Larry Hama.
Wow.
Some of these I've just got multiple copies of because why not? You know.
Well, is that what Pete just said? Bring them to Joe Fest with you because he'll sign them for free.
Yep.
This is the first time Miles Morales was in costume. He appeared in a comic before this, but not in costume. This is the first time he wore the Spider-Man outfit.
Uh-huh.
And then let's see. This one I think this actually is the first appearance of Ultron. I think this one. So that other one, 55, was probably the second appearance. Yeah.
And John, you said earlier, like you're still actively collecting modern release comics. Like,
yeah, I go just about every week to the store, about every other week, and pick up stuff from my local store. Yeah, and but I still get Avengers, Spider-Man, X-Men, Wolverine, and I love X-23, so I get everything X-23 is in. I get everything that Silk is in because Silk is my favorite female Spider-Man, Spider-Girl, whatever you call her, and then. But I've stopped getting Thor. I've stopped getting Fantastic Four. I've stopped getting the Iron Man. A few other things I just stopped getting because I found myself no longer reading them. I was more happy just reading Avengers and X-Men and stuff. So I'm now starting to sell off some of my Iron Man and Thor, and I'm going to start Fantastic Four after the movie comes out. I'll start selling off some of that stuff. Just because I've had them and I'm done with them now. But I'm still going to keep going with Avengers and X-Men and stuff because I read those still. And I still read like Transformers and G.I. Joe, and I read Void Rivals right now and, other things. So
incredible.
I like the Incredible Hulk right now. I mean, the last couple of years of the Incredible Hulk have just been some of the best Incredible Hulk stuff in decades.
Did you never buy any of those High Republic comics? Did you never get into them?
What is it?
That Star Wars High Republic. Did you ever get into them ones?
Oh, yeah. I've got all the Star Wars. Yeah.
Oh, you did? Yeah. Because I started buying the Star Wars, but I was out of it by the High Republic one. I think the artwork went a bit, so I stopped buying them. But when they first introduced them all again in 2015, started the Star Wars comics again, so I was buying them all. I thought, the Vaders, the Afras, the Kanans. I got all the Paul Damerons. Do you know what I mean? I enjoyed it. You just got
I've always gotten all the Star Wars. I still get all the Star Wars from them in and they're all in order of how they came out in some boxes over there. Yeah.
Barker, we should chat about the ones you want to sell. You don't say anything about selling Barks. Look at that.
Well, he might want some of those Iron Mans and Fantastic Fours,
Yeah.
And Thor. I'm going to be selling Thor. Iron Man, Thor, Fantastic Four, Captain America. I'm going to sell a lot of those things,
Yeah, I think we will do that because I'm fascinated by your love of comics, all you guys. So I think we should do we'll do a late night stream like this, and we'll just.
Jeff, look at his next comment.
Yeah. He's already thinking he's.
I'm all for a deal. Right, well, I think we better call it. So, I've loved this, Pete. I've loved this side. This has been ace. What a great idea to do a late night one. I can't believe 2.5 hours has gone. It's flown by. Absolutely.
I'd just like to say as well, nice to meet you as well, Jesse. Thanks for coming on, pal. Nice to meet you.
Yes.
No, wait a second. You've never met a Pete Badger before?
No, I've seen him on streams and stuff, but I've never been on personally with Jesse, no.
Jesse's awesome. Yeah, it's great. I've really enjoyed it. I've thoroughly enjoyed it.
Jesse's old school. He's been around.
Old school.
Old school.
Old school.
Yeah, you are.
Yeah, Shab surprised me about how deep. I'm definitely going to set it up. So whoever wants to do it, I think Barker, Sai, obviously, Scoobs, whoever wants to come on. It's like I said, when we do these late night ones, because I'm going to do these once a week at least. The door's open to everybody. It's going to be one of those where we can all just. It's not a formal thing. It's not. We're just coming in, having a chat, showing stuff off, whatever we want to talk about. So everyone's more than welcome to do this. And I think we should. I think we should do a comic one. I'm fascinated by it. Absolutely fascinated. We've got ZSR tomorrow. And then Tub Thumpers is back on Wednesday. Woohoo! Good old Tub Thumpers is back. That'd be awesome. John, we've got your quiz, haven't we? Sunday, me, Simon, Barker, and VTR.
10 years.
Yeah, if you guys are up for it, I'll shoot out a message and we'll start it back up. Yeah.
Yeah, because I saw the advertisement. So yeah, we'll definitely be up for that. Has anybody else got anything coming up that they want to talk about before we get off? Okay.
That's it. Yeah.
Oh no, no.
For the Scubas, we shot a whole lot of footage at the toy shop with Sai in Blackpool, so we need to like coalesce that into.
Hey, that was 15 years ago.
It was 15 years ago, but for our American audience, to see
it was only last
toy
year.
Store.
Yeah,
it was only last year this time, but to see a proper toy store still exists on the planet. It's pretty amazing.
Yeah, I love toy stores. It's like I said, it's funny though how it's going, because just before we go, I was saying to you lot before, I always hear you lot talk about the Battle Beasts, and I loved Battle Beasts as a kid, but it wasn't it was a me and Simon, my brothers had Battle Beasts or whatever.
I just put a video up today.
Right, and then the lads were talking about Battle Beasts, and it's usually the English lads that talk about it. Now, I've never seen one in the wild, ever. I've never seen one at a yard sale, at a toy store, at a flea, never. And then I went into Hero Source Toys, which is a new one here. Pete's been in, G-Force has been in, and he's got loads of Sears exclusive G.I. Joe stuff that's worth an absolute fortune. It looks really cool the way he's done it. But anyway, he's got a whole collection of Battle Beasts there. And it looks like he's bought it off the same guy, because they're all, for 60, he's got about 30 of them in there, and they've all got the accessories and so forth. The cheapest one, Scuba Pete, the cheapest one was $29.99. And I was like, for Battle Beasts,
with weapon, $30 all day long, and then they just go crazy.
They go up. They could be hundreds. Some of the rare ones are hundreds.
Yeah,
but this is the
late
part
run.
This is the part that baffles me, because I was always under the impression, our side, that Battle Beast was the same as Muscle Men. They made thousands of them. It wasn't. No. Wow.
Yeah. There was 84. Yeah.
84. That's what there was. 84 Battle Beasts.
84 Battle Beasts, and then 3 vehicles, and I think 3 play sets. And then
I'd love to get hold of Andy's book. Andy Hines did an unofficial book on it.
I've got Andy's book.
Someone mentioned it in the comments. They were like, "You need the book," and I was like, "Yes, I do need the book." I was like,
"Yeah, Pete's got it." Yeah, Andy's a nice bloke, really.
He's great.
Yeah, I've really enjoyed it. And like I said, we weren't expecting Tub Thumpers numbers, CSR numbers, but if you have 25 in here tonight, I've thoroughly enjoyed it. So thanks for being so supportive to us, and thanks, Sai, Jesse, our Keith, our Scoobs, John, for coming on. I've really enjoyed this stream. It's been awesome. It's just great. It's not having to rush in Scoobs.
Right.
I know.
I'm free.
I've already had my tea.
Yeah, I don't have to race off. I don't have to go for tea. Do you know what I mean? Shabs, you and I need to do a Thelma Louise up to Indiana. I'd love to go. I think where our Scoobs from is the Mecca in the States. It's got to be Pete, Indiana. It's got to be
Ohio. I really want someday to do like a drive. I wish there was someone down here that I knew in our group that I could drive with, because my biggest problem with driving is after about 3 hours, I will fall asleep at the wheel and drive off the road. Seriously, I've done it. I've done it numbers of times. I've sometimes done it just driving an hour and a half up to the house.
Yeah, you're not 20 anymore. This great American road trip, you're like, can we get a hotel after 4 hours?
Yeah, driving. It's something about driving and that steady, that constant.
It's wonderful.
It puts me to sleep.
I logged in 7,200 miles last year.
Whoa!
Wow!
That's
just all parts of the Western U.S.
I love it. I love driving.
Because what I would love to do is I would love to drive like up to Orlando, hit a couple of those shops, film them, drive up to like Jacksonville, hit something there and film it. Drive into Georgia, go to those like things. Get up to where you guys are, Shabby. Pick you guys up. Continue up the East Coast.
We're back on the RV idea.
Well, I think the RV idea is coming up. I think it's
and just do like a thing where we're hitting all the toy stores along the East Coast or something.
Imagine if he comes over here with one of our RVs, you'll think it's a fucking house.
No, you know what? It'd be like the movie Convoy. Like,
it'd be like
all different vehicles.
Yeah.
So someone had mentioned earlier they want someone Louisa up to Indiana. The problem with Indiana is there's no cliff to fall off. That's all flat.
No, it's all flat. It's all cornfields.
All right, well, we're done. Absolutely brilliant. I've loved it. Thank you all so much. And like I said, I'll set this up again for next week. We'll do another one next week. And I don't know, I think comics might be a good topic for next week. So we'll see what we can do there. I'll see when you're free. But we'll go from there. All right. Say goodnight, everyone. Thanks, everyone, for watching.
Good night,
everyone.
Thanks for coming.
Stay off.
Good night, everyone.